Ghana, and welcome to the AM show. We're officially in the heart of the festive season, but this morning our focus turns to the people whose work feeds the nation and of course keeps our economy moving. Today is Farmers' Day and we're live on the ground in Ho in the Volta region, bringing you sights, sounds and conversations as Ghana celebrates its farmers and fisher folk. So we'll be speaking to key stakeholders, including Edward Kareweh. He's former General Secretary of the Ghana Agricultural Workers Union. We'll also be speaking to Dr. Paul Dankwa. He's a former spokesperson, government spokesperson on governance and security. And also, of course, our Friday regular panelist, Professor Isaac Boedi. He's Dean of Accounting and Finance at the UPSA. We'll be speaking to him. So together, we'll explore the state of agriculture, farmer welfare, productivity, and the policy gaps that still demand answers. But before we take you there, we turn some attention to matters arising, a national conversation. First, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has dominated public discourse, of course, the whole of this week. And the debate has deepened dramatically, after some strong comments from the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin. Now, he's saying that Parliament should repeal the law and also abolish the OSP entirely. This comes at a time when petitions are also emerging, of course, seeking the removal of the special prosecutor. Our second issue is also about Parliament because it has approved a $60 million deal for a new aircraft for the Ghana Air Force. This is a major procurement decision that is raising questions, of course, about the timing and also other national priorities. And so this morning we ask, has the OSP failed or is it being failed, Has it failed? And how do we balance national defense needs with also competing economic demand? So that's the question on our minds this morning. And of course, Noella is here to bring you your favorite e-corner. We have all of that plus more on our special Farmers' Day coverage coming up shortly. Please stay with us. This is the AM show. Don't forget that the AM show is sponsored by Shield Silicone Paint from Azar Group, Syntex Pipes, and also Time Herbal Mixture. We'll take a quick breather and back with AM News. Hello, I'm back again. My name is Denisia Pomaije and I bring you AM News. In our very first story, the Special Prosecutor Kisie Jebe is set to face parliamentary questioning over allegations of gross abuse of power. Majority Chief Whip Roxanne Nelson Dafamepo accuses Kisie Jebe and his office of misusing its authority, citing the arrest of lawyer Martin Pebu as a prime example. Now, the OSP's actions are under intense scrutiny, with critics questioning its mandate and effectiveness. We'll hear the discussion in Parliament shortly, but first, my colleague James Aveji brings us details of events at the OSP and specifically with Martin Pebu and how he reappeared before it.
It's been a long day for private legal practitioner Martin Pebu here at the Office of the Special Prosecutor, where he was invited to attend for the fourth time and provide answers on his allegation of incompetence and corruption against the Special Prosecutor. He arrived here at about 10:49 a.m. and after spending 3 hours of interview with the OSP officials, he was whisked away, and we were told at the time that he was sent for the verification of his bail condition on what had transpired at the OSP's office on Wednesday, leading to his arrest and accusation of obstructing security officers at the OSP.
We'll be double checking. Obstruction of a public officer. It should go to the Ghana Police Service. All right. And so they said they were going to take a mark shot. They said, but me, establish your jurisdiction first. That's your mandate to do that. Is it corruption related? Have I been involved in a corruption related offense? Even that one, people are challenging it in court. That mark shot thing, like what they did to Donald Trump, blah, blah. So eventually, cool heads prevailed, and then they dropped that one. So that took quite a chunk of the time.
So you didn't take the mark shot?
No. I had to provide landed property that they inspected. Then they took measurements. They want to go and verify. So they themselves have taken the coordinates to be sure that the document is not a fraudulent one. So
it should be a piece of land.
Yes, yes. And then third, we inspected the surety's residence. So 3 things we went to do.
The team then returned to the OSP's office, and lawyer Martin Pebu indicates that they had verified the properties and the OSP has okayed the properties and officially granted him bail. Have they officially charged you? When would they put you before court?
No, that one is yet to come. I hope that day doesn't come because I don't know what the trial will be. It's just a precautionary measure they are taking. Where is that trial going to be? So where is the obstruction? It's interesting. We will see how it will pan out in court.
Okay. So they haven't charged you of anything?
As if they want. No.
But he has indicated that he would look into the issues and possibly raise a court action against the OSP for what he terms as an abuse of bail terms against him on the night of Wednesday.
We are obviously. So I'm reviewing all the facts. Definitely. After presenting them, you can know that I'm not one to run away from such a fight. After the petition, we'll come back and assess this case for malicious prosecution.
According to Martin Pebu, he may be invited to attend upon the OSP again somewhere next week. But as far as today is concerned, he's been granted bail. From the OSP's office here in Accra, I am James Savaji for Joy News.
Now, the Presbyterian Church of Ghana has cautioned religious leaders to stay away from galamsey, describing it as a major threat destroying the nation's ecological foundations. Speaking at the 4th Public National Lecture in Accra themed Living Ecologically Just, a biblical response to ecological threats, moderator of the General Assembly, Right Reverend Dr. Abraham Nano Parekwachi, explained that some church leaders have been implicated in illegal mining activities, stressing that protecting nature is an act of biblical stewardship and any leader who destroys the environment is committing an injustice.
The Presbyterian Church of Ghana has organized its 4th Public National Lecture, cautioning religious leaders and Christians to abstain from activities that destroy the environment. Moderator of the General Assembly, Right Reverend Dr. Abraham Nana Oparikwachi, urged Christians and religious leaders to act responsibly and demonstrate true stewardship by protecting the environment. Safeguarding God's creation is a duty every believer must uphold.
Even churches are relying on galamsey. This is a no. We will condemn with all the power and authority that we have every believer, every Christian, every Ghanaian who is involved in galamsey. It is wrong and they should stop it. But for those who are within our church, we would be able to use the internal processes to handle them when we identify them. But for those outside the church, who we do not have any internal authority over, we would ask that church leaders should also come together so that we all deal with such people, whether they are agents or not. We need to repair this country.
Following the moderator's call, environmental journalist Erasto Sasari Donko emphasized that the fight against galamsey requires stronger collaboration among religious institutions, adding that united pressure on government is necessary to secure the political will needed to end the menace.
Currently, the political will is at the lowest ebb. And we should, as Christian leaders, I'm expecting not the Presbyterian Church alone, but the Methodists, the Anglican and other institutions, even the Muslims, should come together and impress upon leadership of this country to do something about what is going on. Churches must take active role. They must speak the truth to their members of the effects of galamsey. We'll be getting somewhere.
As concerns deepen over the environmental damage caused by galamsey, both the church and advocacy groups say the movement demands moral leadership. To them, protecting the nation's natural resources is a shared responsibility, one that begins with those who preach stewardship and ends with collective action to secure Ghana's ecological future. Ramat Basiru's report for Joy News.
And to some other stories, the influx of substandard and falsified medicines across Africa is being fueled by free trade agreements and inadequate market regulation. Well, that's the warning from a leading Ghanaian pharmacist. Speaking at the 4th White Coat ceremony of the pharmacy class, Benjamin Kwame Butche highlighted the alarming trend, citing World Health Organization data showing a significant increase in fake medicines globally. There's more in the following report.
In 2017, the WHO dropped a bombshell. 1 in 10 medicines in low and middle income countries were substandard or falsified, spelling disaster for patients and healthcare systems. Now, pharmacist Benjamin Kwame Butche is sounding the alarm, linking the scourge of fake medicines to free trade agreements and lax regulation.
It is suspected that poor market regulatory actions and permissions, free trade, poor registration activities, very high demand for these products, and poor importation standards contribute to the prevalence of these problems.
Benjamin Kwame Butche is demanding urgent action to stem the tide of substandard medicines.
The responsibility to counteract all this rests with one, governments who should provide the political will, leadership and legislation, national medical products regulatory authorities who should enforce the law to the letter, and healthcare practitioners, particularly pharmacists.
Central University Vice Chancellor Professor Kwesi Dateba urged students to uphold ethics in pharmacy practice.
You must anchor yourself firmly in the values that define Central University: faith, integrity, and excellence. On faith, have faith in God, in the science you have been taught, and faith in the calling you have embraced.
Some students of the Central University School of Pharmacy shared their experiences at the ceremony.
Because you know that with the white coat, it's not going to be just joy. You have a whole lot of responsibilities. Like right now, your every decision has an impact in the life of someone. So yes, it's joyful and stressful mixed together.
It is not anything extraordinary, right? It is just out of the work we've been doing in school, right? And we've been trying our best, and by the grace of God, it has been going on well with us, right? But the feeling is great. To at least there are a lot of great minds in the school, right? So it's just a privilege and an honor to be adjudged as the best student. Yes, thank you.
Nagarime's report read to you.
Let me take you to the Central Region. 2 research fellows at the University of Cape Coast Institute of Education, Dr. Esinam Ami Avonyo and Dr. Chris Kwa, are questioning the effectiveness of the standards-based curriculum implementation, warning that the nationwide rollout was rushed and also poorly supported. According to their study, many teachers enter the classrooms without adequate training or resources, undermining the curriculum's goal of improving learning outcomes at the basic school level. They are therefore recommending a more structured, well-resourced approach to future curriculum reforms.
For every curriculum, when it is implemented, after 5 years or so, we need to have a reflection and a review of it, and if there is a need for some sort of reforms, we implement. And this research is geared towards that direction.
The research dissemination seminar held by the UCC School of Educational Development and Outreach under its Institute of Education was on the theme Implementation of the Standards-Based Curriculum, Knowledge, Beliefs and Practices of Early Childhood and Primary In-Service Teachers in Ghana. Echoing the words of the Director General of the Ghana Education Service, the Deputy Central Regional Education Director, Harriet Ojoa Aidan Sego, commended the research as a guide for education policymakers.
I wish to commend the research team for the diligence, depth, and clarity with which they have examined teachers' knowledge, beliefs, and classroom practices regarding the standard-based curriculum. This work gives voice to our teachers, the very people who make education happen daily in public and private schools.
Research fellow at the institute, Dr. Esina Mamia Vonyon noted the rush in the rollout of the standards-based curriculum and made some recommendations.
We would like to recommend that moving forward, we hope that lessons from what we have done will help inform future curriculum rollout and implementation. Of course, we have the current SBC is almost about 6 years since its introduction, and we know that there may be plans for future review of the curriculum and then rollout and implementation. So we are hopeful that what we have done can provide some guidance in terms of rolling out new curriculum. But as we have now, with what teachers are using currently, there will be the need for them to be trained, to have additional training on the key aspects or components of the curriculum and how they can translate them into their teaching practices.
Ramatu Musa, a teacher at the Imam Main Islamic Basic School, also made an appeal to the University of Cape Coast.
We are pleading with the university that some of the schools, the basic schools are around them, and you have faculty, that is the Faculty of Education, especially the early childhood faculty uses those facilities. So if they can equip those classrooms for us in order for their learners or their students to come and then have first-hand information. Me being a facilitator, if they come and then I'm not doing the right thing, they also copy. So at the end of the day, they are not going to learn any meaningful thing and we will not get any good results.
From Cape Coast, Abigail Lissel Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
Now, Techiman has unveiled a new app that links the city's entire transport system, from tricycles to taxis. Well, this is backed by the Techiman Traditional Council. The initiative promises safer services, more jobs, and also better mobility. Bono East Regional Correspondent Anna Sabit has more.
Techiman is fast growing, and with growth comes traffic, transport headaches, and safety concerns. But what if one app could tackle it all, from hailing a ride to tracking your lost phone and even summoning help in an emergency? All this could be done by a single platform called the Keba app. It's being hailed not just as a convenience, but as a major step forward for security and efficiency. The app is designed as a one-stop shop. Need a ride? Sending a package or even moving goods. The goal is to bring order and digital tracking to the entire informal transport network. Chief Executive Officer Kofi Obin shares with me what this means to transportation across Techiman.
You know, there are new sites in Techiman where vehicles do not go there rampantly. They don't have stations where vehicles go there. So people living within those vicinities find it difficult getting transportation to town. But with Keba, at their comfort of their homes, they can apply on the app for service, and then the service is given them.
But the feature getting the most attention is the in-app panic button. If a passenger feels threatened, a press alerts nearby security agencies with their live location.
Keba also covers everything security, and we have a panic button on the app. So even when you are in these vehicles and you see something fishy, all you do is you press it and then we have access.
Waheneba also Antribo Siako II is the Kentenhene and Dabenhene of the Techiman Traditional Council.
We don't have this, and this is first of its kind. And looking at it, we have to embrace it. It's a local system and we have to work towards it. It's also going to create a local job for other guys. It's going to do away with this theft system.
From tech support to more organized driver networks. Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Techiman.
Up next is business, but first, let's see what's happening on the currency market. Welcome back. Now, foreign direct investment into Ghana has surged to $378 million in the third quarter of 2025, with manufacturing emerging as the country's dominant investment magnet. This is according to latest data from the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC. There's more in the following Business Desk report.
Latest report from the Ghana Investment Promotion Center has shown that foreign direct investment into Ghana surged to $378 million in the third quarter of 2025, with manufacturing emerging as the country's dominant investment. The report reveals that almost all new capital commitments of $377.63 million came from foreign investors, while Ghanaian investors contributed a modest $2.62 million. GIPC noted that initial capital transfers during the period totaled $13.06 million, highlighting the continued reliance on foreign capital to drive major projects. Of the 53 investment projects recorded in Quarter 3, 41 projects representing 77.36% were foreign-owned, valued at $371.18 million, while 12 projects representing 22.64% were joint ventures, contributing to $6.45 million.
The chief executive of the Ghana Association of Banks, John Ewa, says borrowers will enjoy a reduction in the lending rate following a reduction in the Ghana reference rate from 17.86% to 15.9%. Speaking to Joy Business, he noted that the adjustment takes effect immediately and will reflect in the interest charges customers pay.
As you may know, the Ghana reference rate is published once a month. We published the most recent one yesterday, that is Wednesday, the 3rd of December 2025. And the publication on Wednesday took into account the reduction in the policy rate, and that is what has resulted in the Ghana reference rate coming down from 17.86 to 15.9. So as we speak now, as of now, if you are approaching a bank for a facility, the rate reduction will definitely be reflecting. And if you have a facility already with the banks, and as you said in your introduction, which is benchmarked, which is a variable rate facility, obviously you are also going to experience a reduction in the interest rate on that loan. And I must say that a significant number of loans in the system are all variable loans, because the banks ordinarily will price Ghana reference rate plus a certain risk premium. So I will be very good to go by saying that lending rates generally will go down.
Let me now take you to the commodities market and let's see what's going on up there. And thank you so much for joining us for AM News. If you want more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Denise Apomaide. Up next is sports. Please enjoy the rest of the show.
And congratulations. We all aspire to looking this good at age 70 plus. Yeah, amazing. So what are the rules when you get to this stage of life, especially when it comes to wellness?
It's the normal exercise.
Okay.
And at 70, it's not the major ones. Walk is a very good thing. Walk at dawn or just evening before you turn in. And then a lot of water.
Don't eat just anything?
No, the drain comes in a funny way.
Okay.
Because you are not as strong before.
Okay.
Yeah, so you take your time, bottled water. So almost everywhere you should have water.
Very well.
Yeah. Apart from that, it's the Lord himself who keeps you.
Interesting. And of course, we would like to say congratulations to Mfantsipim. This is one of the most difficult parts of this conversation where, we'd have to congratulate. But, at St. Augustine's, we're gentlemen and we like to speak the truth, so Mfantsipim have done well, We had to help them to celebrate their 150th, which is next year. Yeah, so congratulations ahead of that as well. And the 13th African Games, first of all, you are the brain behind it. You secured that bid.
Yeah, I did based on the... In fact, I started working on it over a number of years, over past ministers and all, because I thought you can't do football every time. You understand? Football Cup of Nations, when there are more talent in almost every discipline. So then, why don't we do the Africa Games? That was the transfer from Supreme Council for Sports in Africa. They were handling that away from football into that. But then there were things that we should have done in the very beginning. We should have done a lot more regional championships. You understand? Because it's the talent you want to be able to represent the nation in that. So we should have gone into schools and colleges to run that line, and it was part of the blueprint. Because I always believe that you just don't go for the events without the antecedents. And the antecedent means that you have to prepare for it. Because you can't just host it and virtually last. Everybody will see that you did not plan well. So we needed to do schools and colleges, sports for a certain number of years to the games. If you had done that, the story would have been different. 2, yes, Legon and Boteman close. Okay, some are subject to investigation, so I don't want to go there. To go there means that you are supposed to know things before. Yeah. But there was a plan that we're going to do a cost-effective thing. That's why we opted for the Legon campus.
And other satellite facilities.
Yeah, close by.
Close by, okay, great.
You understand? Even the access control thing, we had worked on all that. There was nothing that we were going to change because the students themselves, that's what they do. So they were without Porters Lodge. Because the Porters Lodge, the absence of Porters Lodge means that you have access with your card right through to your room and back. You don't need Porters there. The normal one, that the Porters there, you go and pick your key and all. So it was a whole change. But then history always plays tricks on human beings. Because if you don't plan well, history treats you in such a way that you have the problems that you have. And I always believe that we should have done a lot of schools and colleges competitions before the Africa Games with new talents. Because if you go back and you would have talked to a lot of countries that came, there were a lot of students that came. They were not their national stars.
Okay. You are proposing a bit of a new model for the African Games. But of course, what we are also aspiring to is that it should sit well within the space of the major multi-sporting events, the Commonwealth Games, the Olympic Games and all that. This is for 54 nations we're talking about here. Yeah. And so if we're having a games event, we have to plan well and execute well. But here's the case where, first of all, our date, the agreement on a date also became problematic, such that it was close to the World Championships. And of course, because of prize money and all that, some of the key African athletes opted out of the African Games.
It's like it's a chess game, or you fit things. We didn't fit it well, so there's
we didn't fit the puzzle well.
Yeah, we didn't fit the puzzle well, because you run into a major international one level than the Ghana Games, to West Africa Games, or towards West Africa, from West Africa to West Africa, from Africa towards Pan-African or a certain grouping before then the West Siege, so that you peak towards the finality of the Olympic Games. You get it? So you don't just plan. It's a sequencing. So the stars that you get out of this one, they qualify for this. The one here qualify for this till you get to the Olympic Games. So if you miss the timing, you don't follow it through. You wait till the next cycle, then to organize. You get the argument I'm making? It's a sequencing thing with sports, because it's like you play the league, then you go to AFCON. You understand? Because you finish the league and you are in a certain state. You understand? So you virtually qualify for that one. Then from that one, if it's a World Cup, you are in a certain state, you virtually qualify for that. That is the missing link in our planning. We don't sequence it. If you sequence it, you see that whoever comes out is prepared for the next event. You understand? But apart from that, it's like a normal event. Sports is like a normal event, entertainment, whatever. The thinking is not different. So it's how you plan it and the deliverables that you want. If you don't take the deliverables and measure and see where you got it wrong, and then the next one, you are going a step up and see what you want, and then you are not planning at all. And for me, that is the bane of Ghana and Africa sports. Because you see that some of the countries, they will not do any of the other disciplines. They will go in for 4 disciplines. And before they come, they would have traveled all over the world to fit themselves that when they come on the African stage, because of the prominence they're giving to the Africa Games, they perform well. But we do everything local. And you do everything local, you should expect local results.
I see. We had an event which grew over the days. I remember that at a certain point there was the gates were opened, people could go in, and I'm talking about the African Games here. Yeah, and Legon became the place, and people took their kids there, loads and loads of massive crowds to watch the games. And then after that, we're done. Today, the president has instituted, he has ordered that the Attorney General looks into our expenditure and all of that. I mean, how do you feel about it without necessarily wanting to go directly into a lot of that?
For me, it's a sad thing. It's as if that's how we've seen sports. You understand? After every major event, then there's a scandal.
Brazil,
after every, so it means that what you are telling the politicians is that we don't do it for the sports, we do it for something else. And once they also get that mentality, then the checks will always be cyclical. Every time after, then there will be another, and I know for sure, market. The next one, there will be about the same investigations. It means we are not doing something right. And then we're also not getting almost every district and region involved. You understand? When we were growing up, there's this thing they always tell us, that if you want dribblers, go to the Western region. You know why? Because of the flair of the language and things. And it shows in the way they play, and it shows in all the stars. And that when the old man gives you a nation, a state, he gives you everything. But not all of them in one region or one state. So you cannot do any national thing without doing a district thing and a regional thing to pick the talents for the national. You can't just sit in Accra and organize something and call it national without going to every district and going to every region. No. He has a good reason for putting us in the size of Ghana, that everybody has a role in the ultimate delivery of how the Ghanaian nation should be like. So, if you have any discipline, granted you cannot do all the 14, 15, whatever the number of regions is. You should be given a certain minimum, which should be about 60 to 70% of the regions. Without that, it should not be a national association. Because you can't just sit in Accra and call it a national association. When the money that you get to organize is for the whole nation of the map of Ghana. So you are denying some people access to that money for just a group who are just in Accra. No. So there should be some conditions that anything that is national, at least 60% of the regions should be there. You understand? Because there are really talents everywhere. You have no idea. If you go around, I mean, somebody will do tutors. I don't want to mention some of the players, but they came into prominence by just a feature. You understand? Mahama Enlai, you ever heard the name?
Briefly.
He can shoot from a distance and you will miss the goal.
What we saw of Mohamed Gago in the mid-90s, similar stuff, right?
Even more than that.
Even more.
Because then they are improved.
Yeah.
You understand? I mean, this corner to go thing was easy for football around that time. The corner to go.
Yeah.
Because the person has practiced it for years. That as soon as you kick and curl, you know, and sometimes they even measure to the last person on the last post. Not the shorter post. Because they gauge between the posts that if you park here thinking that is where, then they're able to send it right to the end post. That's how football is, the beauty of it. That's why we were feeling stadia. And I remember when I was young, I mean, Jendu, the majority of the people who watch Kumasi here, some even bet their cars and then lose the cars and then hand over the car papers and everything to the person who has won the bet.
In football matches?
Yeah, football matches.
Yeah, my late father did same some time back, but he gracefully
gave it to a person.
Gave it back to the person. Yeah. It was Accra Hearts of Oak versus Great Olympics, and you know, I remember. You know, my late father was a director of Accra Hearts of Oak. Yeah. He was the club's doctor as well during Coach Ade's time, and you know, he tells us this story of how he was in Somanya and they were having a conversation ahead of a game between Hearts and Olympics, you know, and there was an Olympics fan who swore that Olympics were going to beat Hearts by 2-0 or something. And eventually, Hearts of Oak won the game by either 1-0 or 3-2 or something interesting like that. And
gentleman, he brought everything.
Yeah.
And it's actually at the stadium. You see it. Especially when it's Wise, Hazakes, and Kotoko. Then the Lebanese, who, as soon as the final scores, they bring the car papers and everything to you because they betted on a car. But that is how football has changed. And I want to believe that if you put in extra effort, we put in a lot more planning, and the fact that every region is important. It's important to the extent that the kind of structures of the people in the region give them the position that they can play in a team. Because every region has a structure of a person. So the old players, the old coaches, they look for a certain structure and they will say, go here. And I remember NLI for one, the old times, or George Alassane, or Peter Lamte.
The late Peter Lamte.
Yeah, the late, yeah.
Recently passed.
Yeah, recently, yeah.
God bless his soul.
Yeah. So
amazing.
We need to not go back to the past, no, but bring a lot more planning, a lot more science into it, and try and go back to the regions. What is special about them? We need to study that. We haven't done that yet.
So in northern Ghana, for instance, one of the things I noticed was that many people in northern Ghana, by build and by natural physique, are primed more towards contact sports that require a lot of extra physical activity. Boxing, for instance. Then what is required, like you said, is that you have a structure where there are facilities, there are technical people to train, and then based on that, a competitive structure can be built.
Definitely.
Well, I'm still enjoying time with the legendary Magnus Rex Dankwa, an international sports consultant, and we're throwing back on some of the major events that he has overseen in the country. We started off with him being the mastermind behind Ghana winning the bid to host the African Games. He's expressed his thoughts about that. Let's do a bit of a rollback. So when we roll back, I think the closest is the Hockey Cup of Nations. That was in 2009. Yeah.
You know, there was a coup we're planning.
Okay, tell me about it.
For the hockey.
Well, you mean a proverbial coup, not the...
So, a Ghanaian speaking English, you take so many things for granted. So, not a proper coup. Okay. Unfortunately, when we were doing the planning, we didn't factor Obama. That was the year Obama came.
Yeah.
Around the same time. So when I got to know, before the announcement came, that Obama was coming around the same time, I went to the late president that, let Obama pass the hockey pitch and do the opening ceremony
with you. That would have been something else.
To do the opening ceremony and just use the hockey stick to take the first kick. Said, but Rex, should have come long ago when we were planning. We have planned this for more than 6 months. Two weeks. You have to make changes to President of America because...
Yeah, because there's a lot more security implications.
Security implications.
Now it's coming back.
So it would have been the greatest school for hockey.
Yeah.
I said, no, it should have come. I mean, I would have done anything that he passes there for them to continue, because they were going to Cape Coast, to the Cape Coast Castle.
I remember.
They could have easily done it. It should have come earlier.
But the idea came to you late.
When we heard the rumors that Obama might be coming. But at that point, they had come and security had come and gone severally, and routes and things, and they done all the measurements on the routes. So they couldn't have factored in that past the hockey pitch before. It means that every security detail on the stretch should have factored the hockey pitch.
Wow.
It should have been the greatest school for Ghana sports and for the hockey. But Prof was ready to do it, but you came too late. At that time, they had concluded the journey and where to pass and all that, and it was too late. But you have been the greatest school for Ghana.
I agree 300%. I agree 300%. And that just also talks about ideas and how sport gives us the opportunity to explore various creative ideas.
Yeah.
Well, let's then go to the year before that. And, you know, it was interesting that the Hockey Cup for Nations had come in just at the time when President Mills of blessed memory took over as president. And during his first State of the Nation address, I do remember that he mentioned it as a project, you know. So before that was former President Kufuor, who opened the Africa Cup of Nations after you had done a lot of work, as Chief Operating Officer.
Yeah, That was a major thing that wanted to use to change the face of sports, one, and then football. In terms of merchandising, in terms of the commercial aspect of sports. And that was a time that, because I had been in sports, I knew all kinds of tricks that people do. So you remember we used the chip for the tickets, and the principle was that normally people go in and throw the ticket start over the wall, and then you come in with it as if you went out and you are coming back. So what I wanted was a chip in the, that's the condition for the ticket, a chip in the ticket, that if you go in, it registers you that you've gone in. If you throw it over the wall, it registers you that you are still in the stadium, so you cannot come in again. You get it? So if you throw your ticket over the wall, when you are passing through the machine, it will reject you because you are still inside. So for me, I was being futuristic in trying to deal with some of the issues that normally happen, like the gate, one, like corporate boxes. Because we sold the corporate box for 208 at $150,000.
I see.
Yeah, that gives you the fridge, the washroom, the service from the hotels for the period of the tournament. And 150,000 was a lot, and we sold them all out. I can't say.
Amazing.
Because I thought the kind of feature that we built around the 208, there's nothing you can't do.
But I'm very sure that, you know, winning the tournament by the Black Stars could have capped all that for you. But it couldn't happen. We settled for third.
It's unfortunate. That was the time that I realized that there are too many things that also go on in football.
Too many things like what?
Too many things that go on in football.
Yeah.
In as much as quite a number of the people wanted Ghana to win for the expense that we had incurred and all the innovations that we had. You know, the thing itself had politics around in terms of calculations and all kinds of things that were going on. And they were major determinants of some of the issues that happened. Because I remember Ghana 99 was supposed to have been in, 2000 was supposed to be in Zimbabwe or something. Zimbabwe, then we did Ghana 99. Then Issa had to realize that Ghana 99, we did it perfectly. So when we realized that the elections for the 2000, he might lose because the people had actually ganged up against him and they've gotten 50% plus one. So the cost of route and then shifted the elections to Ghana. Yeah. So the elections were already very, so people really get out of so that they couldn't vote. So all these things go around a tournament. That sometimes when you are sitting at the back, you will see, and they influence things. And I know that for that particular event, we should have won. Because not that it was bargaining chips, but then the way we look at it, Ghana should have won. But these things happen in sport.
All right, so welcome back to the AM show. It's the holiday edition, and as a farmer, I thought that today they would let me sleep and enjoy the Farmer's Day, but well, producer and his bosses say, well, you have to come to work, so I'm here. So let's do what the news portals are reporting, and then I'll introduce my guest. so we can go into the topical issues of today. Of course, the OSP will be a matter for us to discuss, whether you agree or disagree with the proposal that office in itself entirely should be scrapped. I've seen people say, well, the office is necessary, let's keep it. Where do you stand? We'll have that discussion. But if you go onto myjoyonline.com, and this is very, very important, Agri-GLAT was political, not strategic. And that's according to the Chamber of Agribusiness. The boss is warning that there will be some loss of livelihoods, in this. And we've known that, because if people were selling their bag of maize for around 700, say around January, February, and today they have to settle for 350, 400, that's a huge loss that farmers, are encountering there with the GLAT. Again, he says the food GLAT situation is no victory. Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana CEO wants, because government has allowed people to import huge volumes of food into the country. And that's why he is saying that, well, the food GLAT is no victory. We allowed people to import more than we should have done, because we know statistics and we know that our deficit in food production. So why allow people to import so many? I mean, even for maize, you just look at it and you cry. Rice, we don't have to talk about it. So many rice have flooded the Ghanaian market. When we actually, when it comes to rice, we can produce more than 50% of what we need. But, well, again, the OSP matter comes up here. But let's see what the speaker says. He says, we can't continue allocating huge sums to the OSP when we are not getting results. That's according to the Speaker of Parliament. You should understand where this is going to. And then the majority leader says, abolishing OSP won't prevent former officials from prosecution. Majority leader wants. Now, look at the connection. The speaker says we can't continue allocating huge sums to the OSP when we're not getting results, right? And the majority leader says when we abolish it, it won't prevent people from being prosecuted. Okay, so those are the details. But exactly, you can add up the numbers and see where this is headed. But if you follow the proceedings on the floor of Parliament yesterday, you will probably get an idea of where we are headed. Some people have proposed that the person, the special prosecutor himself, and some of his officers should be taken off. But other people say, well, we don't even need the office. Where do you stand? We'll debate that today. The man who has brought all of this matter to the limelight recently is this man, Martin Pebu, a private legal practitioner. And you recall that he granted an interview at the office on, I think, Wednesday. And a military person, according to him, insulting him, and he also retaliating, brought all of this. He has been arrested and given bail, and yesterday he had to attend at the OSP again with his lawyers for them to go and check his properties before to fulfill that particular bail terms. Martin Pebu says he has not formally been charged despite notification of offense, but OSP has been clarifying the obstruction case. Okay, and then this is also a big story. Ghanaian PhD student in UK appealed directly to British Prime Minister over unpaid fees and stipends. The Ghana Scholarship Secretariat gives a lot of scholarship to people, but the Secretariat fails to pay, and we are told that a lot more people owe huge sums. So they are now turning their attention to the Prime Minister of Britain. Okay, let's do the Daily Graphic after the Major Online. Let's move to Daily Graphic now. Front page says, government rolls out guidelines for armored bullion vehicles. And Parliament to invite Special Prosecutor Kisi Jabeng to explain yesterday. The director in charge of strategy at the Special Prosecutor, Sami Dako, said they are ready to go to Parliament. And in fact, this will be an opportunity for them to really reveal all of the things that they are doing. So they welcome this invitation by Parliament. The Parliament is ready to grill the Special Prosecutor. Big story that we've been reviewing since yesterday. Inflation down to 6.3%. But TUC and businesses decry water and power tariff hikes. TUC says, take back, okay. They say, increase the 9% that you've given us, else we will strike against the utility hike that has come. President Mahama hands over 40 operational vehicles to police, retooling of the police there. Let's move on and do City Newsroom now and see what they are also reporting. CityNewsroom.com. Big story. Don't rush to abolish OSP. Give Kisie Jabin time. Inisa Fuseni is warning. This is coming on the back of Parliament and the debate that ensued on the floor yesterday. But he says, give Kisie Jabin time. He can deliver. Ghana marks 41st National Farmers Day today. It's happening today in Ho. And on this day, New Age Agric Solutions Limited had to support the Ministry of Food and Agriculture with some farm produce and also cash so that we can celebrate our farmers. So wherever our farmers are, we celebrate you today because you have been feeding the nation and you have contributed to where we are in terms of our food security status. Parliament approved 60 million deal for new aircraft for Ghana Air Force. Okay. Allied. Nana Agrada retract false allegations against Empress Gifty. Interesting. Yesterday I saw a lot of social media bars around Prophetess Agrada. Oh no, Evangelist Agrada. Ghanaian PhD student in UK petition Prime Minister Starmer over unpaid fees there. Amwakohene sues Democracy Hub's Wendell Yabua over Galamsey claims. Wow. Okay. I'm told that this guy, Wendell, has been in police custody for a long time, and people have been begging for him to be given out on bail. But we have been told fresh is that the Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Amwakohene, has sued him over Galamsey claims. You remember this guy alleged that 3 regional ministers, Ashanti, Western, and one other, he alleged that they were involved in Galamsey, but you know, the regional minister didn't take lightly to it at all, and the guy was picked up. I'm told that Wendell has been given a bail, but they were told that the Ashanti regional minister has sued him over that particular allegation or those claims. Let's do BBC now. When you go to bbc.com, the Indian Prime Minister Modi welcomes Putin to India with guard of honor ahead of talks. So as we speak currently, the Russian President Vladimir Putin is in India. You know that India, China, Brazil, South Africa, they have a very good relationship. And so he's in India for talks there. Putin says Russia will take Donbass by force or Ukraine troops will withdraw. Donbass is a state in Ukraine, and it's one of the areas that the fight between Ukraine and Russia has been heightening over the last few days. And he says that they will take it by force or Ukraine troops will withdraw. So let's see how that particular one goes. Okay, so these are the stories on one story here that I'm sure that you'll be interested in. Analysis, both strikes briefings help Hexeth, but shipwreck video release may hurt. Well, go on there and get details of that. But this is all that we'll have for you on what the portals are reporting. Let's go in and welcome my guest into the studio. Professor Isaac Body is Dean of the Faculty of Accounting and Finance at the UPSA. Dog, good morning to you. Hope all is well.
Very well.
Okay. And then, again?
You said you should have...
rested.
Rested.
Yes.
Called you. Duty calls.
Yeah. I wonder which kind of producer will allow a farmer to work on Farmers' Day.
You need to come and serve your constituency.
Well, next time, Kingsley himself will be here to host the show. Anyway, Kwame Nkrumah is a lawyer and the General Secretary of the Convention People's Party. Remember, the independence winning political party in Ghana. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Hope all good?
Everything is fine.
Okay. Let's start with the OSP, and you help us with some education. Okay, no, of course, we have to start with Farmers' Day, right? We need to at least give some highlight to our farmers before. So let's start with them. For you, and this is the 41st time we are celebrating National Farmers' Day. aren't we doing the same thing? Or do you envisage that we should probably change the way we organize today?
Well, I think that the way Farmers Day has been organized over the years, I do not really see any substantial problem with it.
So we should maintain it.
I actually know a lot of small-scale farmers who have been honored during the Farmers Day. I think even last year or the year before, even our Ayawaso West, one of our executives, CPP executives for Ayawaso West, who's into farming, Agoba, he was awarded. And I know quite a lot of people too who have gained from this Farmers Day. I think it's one of the schemes where no one is overlooked, irrespective of your political colors or your ideology. And it's a good way to motivate farmers. And aside this young man I mentioned, over the years, there have been so many people, both male and female, academics, full-time farmers, part-time farmers. So I think it's a good thing. Maybe if you talk about the assistance given them on that day, the prizes, then you could say that they could be increased over time. Because obviously, without farmers, we will not be here. Even if you look at Osagyefo's independence speech, when he started with, "At long last, the battle has ended, and thus Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever." And he follows up immediately with, "And yet again, I want to take the opportunity to thank the people of this country." And he singles out 4 people.
Okay.
The youth, the women, the ex-servicemen, and the farmers. Those 4. We should let you know that the foundation of this country is built on the youth, the women, the ex-servicemen, or let's say the security forces, and the farmers, which shows how important they are. And today being Farmers Day is just one day out of the whole year. So the best we can do for farmers is to make sure that on a daily basis, their needs are attended to. Their produce is not allowed to go to waste. And Honorable Eric Opoku and Honorable John Dumelo, they are doing a very good job where they are. I think I saw a statement by Honorable John Dumelo that processing the agric produce is what will lead to food sustainability. And I agree with him. We are a blessed country when it comes to our agric, but we need to process it and not always leave it in its raw state. And these processing facilities, where possible and where hygiene allows, should be as close to the farming communities as possible, because we have all these problems with transporting the food and nobody buying the food and it getting rotten and all that. But we can look at processing these things and even exporting them, because as you said earlier, we seem to be allowing too much import into the countries. And yet we have the paradox of our own produce going to waste. We should explore these processing ideas and export our food to other countries. Because a lot of countries which are not blessed with the arable land that we are. I can't say, but of course, let's say the Sahel areas, for example, they struggle with food security.
But some of them too are doing so well.
Yes.
Libya, until the demise of Muammar Gaddafi, was, and I think even still, they do irrigation dams in the desert. They produce a lot.
It's true. I think they had what you call aquifers or something. That is the water that you can find
under the desert.
They were tapping into it. And they were doing very, very well. They were doing very well. And even recently, I saw a list of top 10 richest African countries. And Libya is still one of them, in spite of all their instability. So we can tap into all that. But at the same time, we still have other places like Somalia and other places that I don't think are doing so well. Burkina Faso is doing very well with its agriculture.
Yeah.
So we can come together as a nation, as a continent, to feed the world.
But I mean, Prof, when Boto says that we can even feed the world, but even ourselves, though we are food, we can be food sufficient, we rely heavily on imports. For example, rice. We import so much. Every year, we spend more than $500 million to import rice into the country, a country that produces rice. Such that today we have glut. Rice paddies are locked up in the north on farms. Nobody is buying them. When can we really get it right in terms of saying that we must eat what we grow to make the lives of farmers better than they are today?
Yeah. Good morning, Praise, and good morning to your viewers and to my good friend. When can we get it better? Before I attempt to answer that, let me backtrack and then thank your outfit for yesterday. UPSA, we held honorary degree. We awarded 3 most outstanding individuals in the country. One was posthumous award to Nana Kredu, and then to Joshua Labi, and the other person. It was a colorful event. I want to thank you and your outfit so much. Having said that, when can we get it right? We can feed the world as a country. We need to salute the contributions of our farmers, their resilience, contribution to food security, and to our economy. As a country, do we still continue celebrating our farmers this way? That's the first question they asked, and a very, very good question. A date set aside for them, to honor them, to celebrate them. For me, I don't see any problem with that. It's more of recognition. We'll tell them, yes, we appreciate what they are doing, their contribution to our food security in the country. But beyond the celebration, what do we do? Individually, the government, and as a country as a whole, what do? We all go back to sleep. And I was happy when the minister, the deputy minister, John Dumelo,
yeah,
said,
the farmer himself.
The theme for this year is from glut to growth. I'm sure that's what he said. From glut to growth. I hope that bill, that tag, will be implemented after the event today. It's not enough to let them be on stage and the best farmer is given a tractor and the other person is giving something. Then at the end of the day, we go back to sleep. Access to credit for these farmers, sometimes zero. Stable market opportunity for these farmers, sometimes zero. And I tell people, if you want to define Ghana, I look at it 2 terms, from 2 angles. One, from what you said. It's a country that imports more than we export. That's the best characteristic you can define Ghana. We import more than we export. It's a country that consumes more than we produce. So when you have these 2 terms used for a country, then you sit back and find out what is the solution to our problem. Check the GDP of this Ghana, the country, in terms of sectors. Which one is pushing the country forward? Both agri sector, both industry and service. It's a service that is driving the country. It's about 9.9. If we check that of agri, it's about 5.2. And we check industry, it's about 2.3. But this is a sector that employs, that controls a lot of resources. But today, what is not even pulling to it. But over the years, the country, we have benefited a lot from this sector. But today, we still have issues. They have unstable market opportunity. When was the last time the minister or those in charge told the farmers, we have identified opportunities beyond our country, our borders. So let's send our products to those places. But rather, these individuals are also struggling with resources, access to credit. We have banks that will give credit only to trade, commerce, and that's it. But before the passage of the universal banking license, for instance, Agric used to sponsor only Agric Bank, used to sponsor Agric industry. But when the universal banking licenses were given, now they can move into different areas and support different activities. So it makes it difficult for a bank to say, this is my product for this particular bank. Because they all move to different areas where they can make their investment and get their returns out quickly and then go out. So which bank in Ghana today will say, I'm solely dedicated, or this is my product only for farmers? Have you seen that before? Rather, all the other banks, they do small these loans to this bank. So we have, as a country, a long way to go. If you ask me, can we get around? A country we can produce to feed other countries, beyond even what we consume. Look at the land we have. Go beyond Accra, to the northern part, to the southern part. Vast land. What do? We have all these young guys in town. What they have to sell is dog chains and the rest. What is the motivation to move into these areas? And you know our training over the years. If they want to punish a student those days in school, use Agric to punish a student. Don't let it go and weed. So how would they be interested? So I'm sure generations after us, or generations, the young ones, in schools, if you celebrate the Farmers' Day like this, I would have laughed that today we'll go to all the various schools, the primary schools, the secondary schools, and that is where we need to start building that confident desire to move into these areas. So it's good. We are celebrating them and want to salute them for their good work, their contribution to food security. Without them, a country will not be able to survive. But I think we appreciate whatever they are doing, and we want to encourage the youth. We want to encourage universities. We want to encourage the young people to move into these areas, be able to help produce, to feed our country.
Kwame, I mean, we've always been talking about industrialization, but we know that the industry or the sector to produce the raw material is Agric.
Yes.
So why don't we take advantage of that and build or industrialize this country? Just so that, like Prof is saying, instead of being reliant, because today if you go to the market, I speak about rice a lot because that's where I know much about. If you go to the market, our rice consumption today, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, was going to be around 1.9 million this year, metric tons this year. But we've imported more than a million, when we're also doing 900,000 metric tons. So really, you need just a million to complement it. But we've imported more than that. So when can we start thinking that we can look at Agric and use it as a foundation to industrialize this country, just like Nkrumah wanted to do with the state farms?
Exactly. I think the political will has to be there. The political will has to be there. I stated on this program before that the abolishment of the 1D, 1F was a big mistake. It was a big mistake. The previous administration may have had their issues, but the 1D, 1F is something that the Agric sector could have taken advantage of in order to industrialize the Agric sector, to make sure we turn these raw materials into things that, will be useful. However, it's been abolished. I don't know, maybe the Agric ministry, with the way the deputy minister spoke about processing, it's possible they'll revisit it under a different name. But these are the periods during which we need unity of purpose. You understand me? For example, let me use yesterday, for example. There was a bipartisan, there was bipartisan unity on this OSP issue. They were united. Yeah. They were united when it. Why can't we unite when it comes to things like industrialization and all that? Of course, what happened yesterday gives me hope that things will change from today onwards. It shows that we can work together to move things forward when we are angry enough. It was that anger that united Parliament yesterday regarding the OSP issue. That same anger against poverty, against hunger, should also unite them to industrialize agric. So it's just about the political will. Many have tried, even General Achampon too. He also did his bit when it came to agric. We cannot overlook that. You see, you cannot overlook that. Many presidents, many administrations have tried, but it seems as if we always put it to the back burner and go back to important and think other issues are more important.
Quite recently, I've had industry players say the planting for food and jobs from the beginning was a good policy.
Another good policy. I even forgot about that. Another good policy. You see, so we shouldn't look at the fact that it came from this party or that party, because if it works, it benefits all of us. It benefits all of us.
I'll let you come in, Prof, but let me go onto a phone line and bring in Farmer General or Nana Obadiah Osebons, who's joining us on the telephone lines now. He is in Ho, where the event is being held. Now Obadiah, oh, look at me! I was going to say, Nana Obadiah, how are you?
That's awesome.
Nana, how are you?
I'm doing good. I like your info this morning. Yeah, it is good. You've really shown that today is really a Farmer's Day.
Nana, I understand you are at home. What is happening there, and what's your expectation of how today will be?
Oh, okay. The Farmer's Day today is unprecedented, and then I was much surprised seeing the minister that was yesterday night coming around just to inspect the things that the farmers are going to receive. And then we also get into the grounds also. We saw some mistakes around that. We also prompt the minister, because those that did the decorations around, there were no place that the farmers will sit. So it was MPs, ministers of state, and then let's say the general public schools, and then traditional leaders or so, but then there was no place for, for the farmers and the FGO. So I prompted the minister and said, no, quickly they have to just fix it there. And that is the mistake that MOFA is doing, that we, the concerned farmers, have a problem with MOFA. Any government that will come, Ghanaians will be criticizing the government that is not doing well, but it's not the government, or it is not them. It is MOFA. They have been the blockade on the side of we the farmers. So at the end of the day, we the farmers will be saying that we are not performing. There's no food. When there's abundance of food, other people take the credit. You know. So at the end of the day, the Farmers' Day, it is well organized. The things that they've put in place, it is very nice. But what we are saying is we want a single-digit interest rate today. And the president will mention that whether he likes it or not, he has to do that. You know, all because all the things that we are calling for and we are doing, if we don't do our things well, how can we do our things well? Doing our things well, meaning that we need a loan which the interest rate, it is small, which we can do our job very well. Because now the interest rate is almost 33%, 22%, 28%. Every bank and how he comes out with his interest rate. So what we are calling for today, which is our day, is we want a single-digit interest rate, which is 2% for we the farmers. We can do our irrigation, we own fertilizers, we can do everything. Because
but Nana, how do you think you can get an interest rate around 2%?
How can you feed Ghana, secure the future with this high interest rate? It is not possible. So what we are calling for is a single digit, that is the 2%. Whether John Dramani Mahama, our son, likes it or not, we gave him the power. He's there to serve us. We are telling him that we want this. And when we get that, we'll be able to meet the feed Ghana, eat Ghana, and then secure the future to make Ghana a better place to live.
Yeah. So Nana, you're saying that will make you competitive to compete with the ones that we import from outside the country.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, when you watch the things that comes out, they import to this country and compare what we produce here, ours is far better than it. Talking about tomatoes and other things, our tomatoes are one of the best tomatoes. Our onions grown in the Volta region, the shallot and other things. Now it is fading up. You are not getting shallot again. But first, we see shallot all over the market. But now Ghanaians have developed a wrong taste of the Niger onion, which is very bad. You need to eat what is on your land. And that is what we are calling for. Because we can't continue to be importing onions and tomatoes from Burkina Faso once we have the fertile land, better land, good water bodies, more than them. So if we are able to meet this, or if we want to meet the feed Ghana, eat Ghana, grow Ghana, and whatever, secure the future, I think that is the way forward we should go.
So, I mean, we know that now the policy rate has reduced to around 18. So a lot more banks are expected to be giving out loans around 18, 19, 20. So are you asking for a deliberate policy from government to get some of these banks to give specialized loans to farmers at this 2%? Because at 18% policy rate, it's difficult to do 2%.
Yeah, I'm talking about farmers. I'm not talking about any other people, because farmers are the most essential workers in this country. Without farmers, people in this country called Ghana cannot live.
So you're talking about a specialized rate for farmers?
Exactly, special rate for farmers. This is for farmers only, a registered, recognized farmers.
Wow. Just stay with me. Let me bring in Prof. Prof, how can what he's asking for be done? He says that even though the policy rate is around 18%, and we expect banks to be doing 18, 19, 20, they farmers want to be given loans at 2% because that is what can help farmers become competitive. How can it be done?
Well, we need to appreciate that businesses are borrowing at a high cost, regardless of the low inflation we are recording. It will be difficult. I don't know how he's able to come up with a 2%.
He says government should be deliberate. So this is like a
then that could be a deliberate policy from is a way government the will of the government. If you want to help our farmers, it must be a deliberate policy to help them. We know that when you drop your inflation to this number we are recording, I'll give you later variations in the figures that we are recording. That's on a different discussion. But for me, if you are dropping your inflation rate, your policy rate also keep dropping. So why should businesses have problems in borrowing? The cost so high. Cost of production in our country is too high, and we've said it several times. What can the government do? And I said, the universal banking license given to all the banks to operate from different angles or different sectors could be a major factor to what we are recording, because now our great bank is almost servicing only farmers or farming product. No, they're also doing commercial, they are doing supporting housing and the rest. So we've left the field. Nobody is supporting the farmers anymore. If the government wants to help stimulate production in the country, especially from the agri sector, then it must be a deliberate policy. One, access, as mentioned, access to credit and creating opportunity, a stable market for this product. Okay. If you're able to support farmers with low credit, or a particular bank is set up by the government that I want to give this interest rate a deliberate policy, let's support our agri production. We'll stimulate. That can be another source of encouragement. The Grow Ghana thing you mentioned, the Eat Ghana, they are all good nomenclatures. I mean, we are measuring them well. But how actively are we implementing them? Difficult to measure. We can say those things on TV and the rest on different platforms, and we talk about those things. But how are we implementing this day by day? That's a challenge. So on this day, yes, to have these celebrations and then we all go back to sleep, nothing will be done from glut to growth. In between these two words, what do we do?
So must we get ADB to get back to the reason we set it up, or we must set up another bank to say Kita for farmers only?
We might, because the era we find ourselves, we are all operating with universal banking license. It allows anybody to move in. I think 2007 or so when that thing was passed. Banks can decide to support any venture that will bring returns to their investment. So they can do that. But then, the government can have discussion with ADB and say that, look, this is my product. This is what I want to do. Can you, as a bank, deliberately have a portion of your investment portfolio to this area? Can do that. Then, the government wants to set up the women's banking. What is the idea? To support the small scale, the small women. SMEs and all the women in this area. That's a deliberate policy to help. What about Greek? What are we doing? So that is where my problem is. Check the inflation values, the figures, and see. Food inflation is too high. Imported product on the inflation calculation is too high. Variations across regions still high. So it means that business are still struggling. They are still struggling. And for me, Ghana's future depends heavily on our Greek. Our forefathers have supported this country through this means. But the youth today, generation today, is a service that we want to now focus on. What is happening to our Greek? People who produce, the farmers who produce, they don't have any place to sell. Go to the villages. I had the opportunity to purchase your products. Is it Vivo also?
Vivi rice.
Vivi rice. Special. Produced locally. And I gave to colleagues to test. They were doubting. And I came back and told you, this has been my feedback. Then I went back, explained to them. And I can tell you those who will come for that product. In as much as we are trying to advise the government, give a good credit policy or be intentional with your policy. The other way, what can we do as consumers? Let's also find a way and change our taste. And change our taste. What is wrong to consume locally produced products? So my issue is that it's not enough for the government to be on stage. Eat Ghana, grow Ghana, value, all those things. We should be intentional with these policies. How do we do this from A to Z?
Thank you very much, Prof. So as Prof has given the endorsement there, I just want to alert you that FVV is in stock. Every Shell station,
special.
In your community, just find out for the FVV rice there. You'll see it. It's a very special rice. It's EVIVI, FVV. FVV means delicious, so just go there and grab one pack for yourself. Yeah, Prof, thank you for loving our rice. You might also want to check out our soybean oil. Delicious.
Oh, in fact, from now going, I'll be
you are FVV ambassador.
Right, because I've been looking for such opportunity. I tell you.
In fact, when Ghanaians believe in our product, there's a lot we can do. I mean, if I give you the FVV rice and we don't tell you it is Ghana made,
you won't.
You would wonder, you would think that this is important, but everything about it is done here. Farmers in the northern, all the way to the Volta region, grow FVV rice. We take it, we process it, bag it here in Ghana.
That's good.
And bring
and this Christmas, that's the rice of choice.
Exactly. But
everybody should consume.
If we Ghanaians would change our taste, and rather say we want to deliberately concentrate on Ghanaian product, you know what we can do? Now the 500 million we used to import rice will stay here in this country.
Exactly.
Now if it stays here in this country, myself and my company will get a portion of this 500 million.
Yeah.
Now, if we get a portion of this 500 million, it means that we need to now cultivate more land, so jobs. it means that we'll now need to print more plastics. So we'll give it to the Ghanaian who's printing. The money will stay here. It means that our distribution channels will have to increase. So more hands will be needed. So we'll create jobs. And this is the unemployment thing that we've been talking about would have eliminated it, you know. So agric is really what it is. We need to now decide as a country to say we want to, no. So the problem is that, you know, in the olden days, when you are eating or you were eating Ghana rice, you would hit stones.
Yes, yes.
So many people said, oh, Ghana rice has a lot of stones.
Yes,
so people, you know, detach themselves from the Ghana rice. I'm sure you have an experience like that.
Yeah, oh yes, yes.
Exactly.
Those days, especially the wache,
yes.
it was expected.
You know, but now we have invested into something we call destoning.
Okay.
So even before the rice gets to the portion where it will be bagged, all stones and every debris is out.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
And we do color sorting. So every rice that is not up to the color we expect onto the market will be taken out by the equipment. Wow. So all the rice that comes onto the market will be of a certain quality. Yeah. So Ghana farmers and processors have invested so much. It's only left with the consumer to say, instead of eating foreign rice A, I'd rather choose FVV rice.
Yeah.
And we are gone. We are there. Ghanaian farmers will be empowered.
That is real value addition.
Exactly, yes.
Let's assume the ministry are saying this year will patronize your product to all the ministry. What happens?
Boom. We are gone. If all the ministries decide that they are going to buy a Vivi rice and all other Ghanaian brands to support, to give to their staff, we have markets. We have a huge market.
Yeah.
And last year, in fact, the Foreign Affairs, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, you know, bought from us. So last year it was huge. It was huge quantity that they took from us. So if many of these ministries or all these ministries say we're going to buy a Vivi rice, then there's huge market for us. As for that. And the thing is that you have ate it, so you know the quality you're talking about. If you go to, I'm told, Kenya and Nigeria, you are forced to eat the rice that they serve you. And that's rice produced in Ghana. And that's what you eat. So it is for us, as we celebrate Farmers' Day, for the consumer to say, we want to change our taste to go for Ghanaian made. If you take the soya bean oil we've produced, for example, you doubt, you ask yourself, is it Ghana made? But it is. If you eat the chicken we are producing to the market, you know, you go like, is this it? That is it. It's Ghana made. Ghanaian farmers and processors are doing a lot. We only need the consumer to back us, and we can feed ourselves. Well, the arable lands are there. We only need money and expand. So we are asking, the Nana Obadia is asking banks to give us 2%. The president or the government can deliberate to say, okay, we're giving farmers 2% in interest rate on loans.
Yeah.
If that is done, the consumer decide to consume what is made in Ghana, I tell you what, give ourselves 5 years and we'll see what we'll do in this country.
Exactly.
Let me go on. Let me go on Zoom and bring in Wapia Awal, who is the president of Peasant Farmers, into this conversation. I'm grateful to you, sir, for joining us here, Wapia. For you, I mean, Nana Obadia says the government must try to give farmers a loan of interest rate around 2%. What is your expectation of what must be done to take agric from where it is today to the next level in this country?
Okay, good morning, and good morning to your viewers and listeners across the country. I want to use this opportunity to first of all congratulate the farmers today for the recognition that the country will be giving to them. I want to also thank all the stakeholders and all those who have been supporting us over the years. Of course, if you look at agriculture, I think it's about time that we pay so much attention to it. And I will start on the interest rate issue that you were discussing. It's very important to us. If you go to many financial institutions as we speak, they are not willing to advance loans towards agriculture because they think that the sector is very risky. And that is why we require government policy. Of course, the issue of Agriculture Development Bank, if you look at their loan portfolio as we speak, how much of their loans go into agriculture? But this bank was established purposely to advance the agriculture sector. So we believe that government still have to go back and look at the policies underpinning the Agricultural Development Bank, and government, of course, just like government is going to do for the Women's Bank, there should also be some financial support and other incentives that will be given to farmers to encourage them to expand production around this country. And of course, marketing is very key. So in as much as we are supporting production, we equally expect that the marketing channels should be developed so that as farmers, we can sell the produce and be able to sustain our business. Very, very crucial to us.
So as we celebrate Farmers Day, what would be the biggest announcement that this government will make that will make you feel that this government is serious about farming and would want to take it from where it is to the level we're all expecting?
Okay, yeah, for us in the association, one of the biggest announcements we want to hear from government is bringing a finality to the issue of us producing so much and not finding enough markets. So we will expect that government will reinforce the policy that was announced in Parliament by the Minister of Finance, that the public institutions, of course, the Minister of Finance was talking about public schools. We will want to hear that the scope should be extended to include other public institutions, that they should be sourcing their food produce locally from Ghanaian farmers. And this time around, we don't only want it to remain at a policy level or just at the announcement level. We will want, as an association, to see a published data of all those who have been given contracts by government institutions to be buying from us, so that if they are not buying from us, then we should be able to alert government through the Ministry of Food and Agriculture that the policy is not being followed through. And of course, like we've been speaking always, our borders are very porous. People are carrying all kinds of rice and other foodstuffs across the borders into this country, very cheap and inferior products. And our farmers are unable to compete with them. So we want to see from the beginning, of course, from the beginning of next year, as the budget is being implemented, public institutions, all those who will be giving contracts to be buying food for public institutions who are supposed to follow the government directive, we have their contacts, the communities they should be buying from, so that we can track them. And if they are not doing it, then we can alert government that the policy is not being followed through. Because this is not the first time. Sometimes you hear this announcement, and the food contractors, those who receive the contracts, will tend to buy from different places. So this will be one of the biggest announcements that we expect to hear, that government should bring this issue to a final. Of course, issue of irrigation is very key to us. We want to see the irrigation for wealth policy that was launched last year. We expect that government should follow suit and develop potential irrigation sites and be able to do rehabilitation on irrigation dams. We want to see the farmer service centers, which is very crucial to us. We all talk about modernizing agriculture. We can't continue to do farming with hoe and cutlass, but we lack machinery to be able to do that. So we'll expect that the farmer service centers that have also been announced are set up across the country, so that as farmers, we can have access to the services that these machines will offer to us. And these are some of the few issues that, as farmers, we are looking up to.
Okay. Now, we know government released some amount for the Ministry of Agriculture to buy some of the food that, from the glut that we're experiencing. Did your members have some of these people coming over to buy? Do you see the purchases from the government agencies to fulfill what government intends to do to help the glut situation we have on our hands?
Yeah, for us in that situation, we haven't seen people coming to buy from our members, even though earlier the government buffer stock has indicated that the 100 million that was given to them has been utilized. But as an association, our members have not benefited from the 100 million Ghana cedis that was earlier released for them to purchase the rice and maize and then other farm produce. And that is why we had indicated earlier that this time around, with the 200 million Ghana cedis that was announced, which the minister has indicated that is going through procurement processes, we want to see all those who have been awarded contracts to buy from us. We want to see the regions and the communities they are supposed to buy from, so that we can track the activities and also be able to report back to government. Because sometimes you hear that this money is released, and before you realize it, so they have finished the purchases And for us as an association, we have not benefited from it. So we want that information published so that we can also track their activities and know where they are buying from. And of course, if our members are not benefiting, then we can also put the case forward for government, again, to know that no, they need to widen the scope that they are operating to be able to buy. But as an association, our members have not benefited from any purchase from Buffer Stock Company.
Do stay with me. Let me come into the studio and introduce Edward Kareweh. Many people you know him as the General Secretary of the Agriculture Workers Union. He joins us in studio. Thank you very much for joining us. I saw you on PM Express yesterday when they were talking about the same issue. In terms of the government's efforts to buy some of these produce that are in glut, what do you know about it? Have you seen, have your members told you they've seen people buy to say that, yes, indeed, government is buying?
Let me say good morning to all of you, my colleagues sitting here, and then those who are watching us, and then those who are behind the scenes making it possible for us to be heard globally. I also salute farmers for this day, and I wish them well. They should keep courage and continue to work and upscale the challenges that they are faced with. Also say that I'm no more the General Secretary of GAU.
Oh, former. Okay.
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 So that is it. Well, I think that it is not even the way to go for us to use today to look at how we are going to solve farmers' problems. If you look at the beginning of the Farmers' Day celebration, which occurred in 1985, I think so, was at the back of a certain economic challenges that we had in the 1983 bout. Over nearly 2 million Ghanaians were returned from Nigeria. Ghana was blacklisted from the IMF and the World Bank and financial institutions. We never had. So farmers produce to feed the country. So they were on it. You know, we have to know that the type of celebration we had in the past probably met the expectations of the farmers then. But today, are we sure that farmers are, what is the significance of the celebration in addressing farmers' challenges? You know, that is how I think that we should also focus the celebration, because we can't be celebrating and then beyond that there's cry, you know. Now, we are celebrating farmers because they have produced. But after production, what next is the market. You know, if you're a farmer, and I'm not talking about the celebration targeting this guy, but I'm just looking at the entire celebration. If you're a farmer, you produce 100 bags of maize. You are the best farmer in maize production. Then they give you an award. After that, you have no market for your produce. Is that what farmers are looking for? But what it also means is that our agricultural system, we need to take it so serious. We talk so much about it, yet we do little about it. Again, I think that we should also get much more focused. There are a number of challenges that are facing farmers. Can we use a Farmers' Day as a social contract between farmers and government to say that, look, by the end of 2026, this particular challenge facing farmers is what we want to focus on. Because there are many challenges, and we need to address some of the challenges one after the other. We cannot address all of them at the same time. If we were doing that, since we started the Farmers' Day celebration, I believe today we virtually have no challenge to solve. One of the biggest things is, someone said here, the farmers don't give us, the banks do not want to give us loans and so on. What is government policy on it? Government policy on it should not be laissez-faire. It should be clear, crystal clear, that you cannot operate in this country as a bank when you do not allocate a portion of your loan portfolio, say 5%, 2% to agriculture, we are not directing you to give it to A or B, but at the end of the year, when you are doing your financial accounting, you must show to the country, to government, that 2% or 3% or 1% of your loan portfolio for the year is given to agriculture. Once we do that, and you know the banks, they know how to recover money. They will immediately make sure that anybody who takes their money from the farmer's side, they will help you to produce, to make sure that you don't get losses, and then for them to lose their money. We have not been able to do that. And if we think that we can have a laissez-faire system where we allow the banks alone to decide whether they want to give us loans or they don't want to give us loans, look, we will always be running around, they will not give us loans. Because they themselves have also been stuck into a traditional approach of granting loans, collateral, whatever, and so on.
Without collateral, however beautiful your plan is, you can.
And I'm saying this because as a workers' leader and who has worked at the workers' front for many years, over 20 years, is that years back it was very difficult for banks to give loans to workers because they had no collateral security. If you're a worker, you have no collateral security, you can't get a house. But when the government then ensured that all salaries were passed through bank, the banks were grumbling because workers were waiting for the money to hit the account and then they would just take it. And banks thought at that time that it was just cost to them and they don't have the money. But when government insisted, today, banks now go to workers' places and advertising that we have loans, come and take. I'm saying this because if we have a clear policy, and today it is no more government business to convince a bank or anybody to give loans to workers. It is the banks that do it themselves. A time will come, if we get the policy right, no one will be crying. The banks will be looking for the farmers to give them the loans. And to start with is to say that no bank operates in this country without giving a certain percentage of your loan portfolio to agriculture. It's part of the requirement. And any bank that does not want to comply with such a requirement can leave. When we do that, the banks, they can't give you money and they will not help you to work and make sure that they get the money. Why do they give to the people who do commerce and import? It's easier for them to recover that one. But in agriculture, it's not. And the banks will begin to work closely with agriculture farmers. One, they'll provide you the produce, or no, the inputs. If Mr. A supplies the inputs, and you want the inputs, we want your loan for the input. They say, no, we are not going to give you the fiscal cash. We'll ask Mr. A to give you the what? Or you look for Mr. A or B, whoever has got the inputs. We'll pay the money directly to that person. You will go and pick the inputs. When you produce, you want to sell. Someone who wants to buy your produce will say, look, go to this person and buy the produce is there. Or the two of them will link up. We'll pay the money directly to the farmer who has produced. Instead of giving the money to you to now go and look for the produce to buy, and you may probably not spend all the money in buying the produce. One of the biggest challenges is that when you give the money to the farmers, they say that they divert some of it for other purposes. You can cut down all those things. And I'm saying that we need to be clear. Today, I am not so comfortable that we don't have a clear policy as to how farmers can get assistance from the banks. We just do not have. And we cannot continue this way. Next year, we may come here and still talk about banks not granting loans. So I have been in this business. I've sat in this studio and many studios to complain about this, and they are not doing it. This is the way we have to do. And the glad, you see, that is an immediate problem, which must be solved. And you can see that it's the amount of money that is needed today to mop up the glut. I don't think government is having it, or it's not being provided for now. Because it is not going to be less than 500 million Ghana cedis to do that, to mop up the excess. Yeah. How much is Ghana government providing? If they give buffer stock 100 million and they are proposing another 200 million, it means that there's still a shortfall. So you see, and the biggest challenge for a farmer is when you produce and you cannot sell. And it goes to waste. And because agricultural produce are
perishable, some of them are,
they are perishable and bulky, they easily get spoiled. So government will have to commit much more money to do the mopping up. And the mopping up is one thing. And you see, the level of excess production we are claiming today is not necessarily the case, in my view. It's just because the other policies that are supposed to be implemented to mop up are not being implemented well. Buffer stock is one of them. The company, which is over 10 years, going to 15 years, is a shadow of itself because it has no capacity to do the mopping up. And what is this capacity? Is money. The money that they need to take to the field to do that. Otherwise, what was the use of that company when it doesn't have money to go and buy from the farmer?
I've heard somebody propose that buffer stock could look for the processors and give them contract without money. Give them contract to go and buy all of these things and process and sell off to the schools. And they say that with that particular contract, they can go to the bank, get money, and go and buy guided produce.
That's the innovation.
So
how buffer stock is going to do it is what we are now entering into.
Okay.
Buffer stock cannot be everywhere to do that. It may not be efficient necessarily because you're a company, corporate set up for that purpose. You are necessarily efficient. And to be efficient is to adopt different measures. How do you buy? There's someone who is better dealing, being at the forefront than you. Why don't you take advantage of that? So buffer stock will now have this type of collaboration with the institutions so that they can reduce costs. Because at the end of the day, your cost in procuring the foodstuffs should be far less, should be minimal. So that must always be at the back of the mind of a buffer stock company when they are dealing with how they are going to purchase. So this is a brilliant idea. Have we implemented and just not worked? We should implement more of those ones. You see? So when they say buffer stock should buy, it doesn't mean that the staff must just go into the market and then go and stand there like any other person that we are buying. No. It is how you can get it at a cheaper cost to store. The other thing too is, look, we have a lot of young men and women who are in our schools. And we know when you are young, you eat a lot. It is when you get to this point, they say, eat less. You see? We know them in the schools. We have to ensure that we implement that policy to the letter, that they must source all their food needs from their local communities.
Yes.
Because you can imagine these SHS that are all over the country. Their farmers are just there. They are close to the market. You know, one of the challenges is that when you go to the farm gate, the prices are different from a market far away from the farm gate. And these schools and institutions are just close to the farm gate. So when they go to buy from the farmers, the price will be low, they will save money, and then they will still have quality food. We don't do that, and then sometimes we have the policy, we will not implement it. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel. First and foremost, we must do serious audit of all the policies that we have and see why they have not gone through. And for me, it's just because we are bad managers. No, we are certainly, as a country, we are bad managers. We don't know how to manage. You have a good policy, we will manage it to the letter, we will not manage it in accordance with the requirements, and then we applaud policies rather than outcomes. For some of us, policy intentions is nothing. It's like a promise. And don't rely on promises. We know that promises can fail. So don't go and be celebrating on promises. So policy intentions are promises. We must hold people accountable for outcomes. So at the end of the day, why is it that we have not had the outcomes that we expected from the policy? It is only then that we can praise someone or otherwise. But we have come to, we are stuck with this notion that, oh, this policy is nice, so we celebrate. The policy intentions. Look, we have had very good policies in the past, but we have not gotten to where we are now. But my holy prayer is that we should continue to learn from our past. But for me, it also appears that we don't learn from our past. Because all the things we are talking about today that we should do, the farmers, we have said about all these things.
Yet we are not doing them. We are just simply not doing them. How can a country like Ghana, you don't produce dollars, you spend hundreds of millions of dollars to import tomatoes from your neighbors? Almost everything we import. Tell me which particular foodstuff that Ghana can boast that we are self-sufficient in production of this foodstuff. Is it maize? Is it rice? Is it soya? Tell me. But if you take Burkina Faso, for instance, if you don't know anything about Burkina Faso and you are a Ghanaian, you know that they produce a lot of tomatoes. Ghana, why is it they can produce more and we cannot do it?
We produce a lot of maize and
rice. Yes, where does it go to? Is it in Burkina Faso?
Stays here.
Where is our maize, our rice? The rice they produce here, no market. And we don't protect our farmers.
No, not at all.
We just do not protect our farmers. Look, for me, I could remember the former minister for Agri, that is Dr. Afriye Ekoto. He did make a statement, which I agreed with him by then, but it never worked. He said by the year 2003, Ghana will be a net exporter or importer of rice. It never happened. It never happened. Because I was following Chile and I like those type of policies.
Because we have the potential.
We did planting for food and jobs. We were supporting farmers to produce. We came out with the discounted benchmark policy, which allowed people to import the same thing we produce here. And then we take 50% of the duty they have to pay on it. Until 2023, when it was revoked. But it came in 2019. We are just running in circles. By the time we took off that particular policy, we had destroyed local production. By 2023, the poultry industry, about 70% of poultry farms have collapsed. Today, we are starting all over to look at the poultry industry. And we know the value chain forward and backwards linkages with the poultry industry. Now we are starting it afresh as if nothing has happened at all. These are the things I'm saying, that we are not good managers. And then we should also hold people accountable for public monies that are spent and outcomes are not the way they are. Because if you ask today, who is being held for the plan for food and jobs? We spend so much money, about 4 billion Ghana cedis for the period. Who is being held for what? I don't know who is that, but who is being held for it? So we leave it. If we come to have another policy and something happens, one village, one dam, where is it? Who is being held for it? We are talking about irrigation. I mean, Pologo Dam, we started, millions of dollars gone to waste. Who is being held for it? Whose money? You and I, our money. It wasted our time. Who is being held for it? The accountability things must also be taken seriously with agriculture. Those who are at the forefront and have been given the responsibility to manage our policies, to implement our policies, must be accountable. That part, I think the only thing you can do and get away in Ghana is spend money and get away.
Edward Kareweh is former General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union. Well, some of the farmers have been sharing their expectations of today with just some citizens have been sharing the expectations of the farmers there with Volta Regional Correspondent Ivy Setoji in Ho, because that's where the Farmers Day is being held. Let's watch this. We'll be back with more.
I'm excited about being a first-timer participant of the National Farmers Day happening tomorrow at the Hotspot Stadium. And yes, I'm hoping that it doesn't all end here tomorrow, but then affects policy designs that will go ahead to promote food affordability and sustainability and also accessibility, not just in the Volta region, but other parts of the region, but especially in Ho, and having farmers around who are coming from different locations. I am excited to see the exhibitions they have for us, to see things that are being created in other regions and also stuff. Not just that, from the different cultures all over Ghana, I'm excited to see the kind of crops that are being produced in different regions, because culture affects what we produce and what comes out of our lands. And yes, happy Farmers Day. Welcome to Volta Fair 2025, and as you all know, tomorrow is Farmers Day. My expectations, well, I'm expecting that this year's Farmers Day will send a lot of knowledge across to people who are interested in farming. It is not just about making a little garden and all. You can make it commercial, so come learn new things. There will be people from all over the world here in Ho, so come. And yes, CS Glam GH is at this year's fair. We are selling so many things. Come, walk through, buy something, make new friends, network. We are expecting you all tomorrow. Bye. The National Farmers Day celebration here in the Volta region, Ho Sports Stadium to be precise, and this is good for the people of the Volta region. Now, this is an opportunity for us to look at how food is accessible, affordable, and how we can utilize best our crops that we farm here in the Volta region. Also, we can also look at the sustainable aspects of our crops and how best we can help our farmers to practice sustainable food practices to lead to food security. I'm looking forward to a great event tomorrow. May the best farmers win, and we are looking out for all the farmers that will come from different parts of the country to be here tomorrow and then enjoy the celebration. Happy Farmers Day, everyone.
Well, let's go onto the phone lines and speak to our Volta regional correspondent, Ivy Satoji, who is in Ho currently. Ivy, thanks for joining us. What is happening in Ho now?
Well, the oxygen city of Ghana, as you say, Ho is bustling with businesses. Farmers across the country are ready. Those who are ready to receive the awards are there. Businesses is booming as we speak at the Ho Sports Stadium, because there has been a 5 days fair for the Farmers Day, and then the Volta Fair is also ongoing. So if you come to Ho right now, you see a lot of people at the park waiting for the grand about of the Farmers Day, and we are also expecting the president to join the celebrations today. So yes, Ho is dancing with businesses, and we are expecting to have a very great day today.
Okay. I mean, do we know when the Farmers Day itself is starting? When the ceremony, speeches, and the awards? What time is it starting?
10 o'clock. It should start by 10 o'clock. If everything goes on well, it should start by 10 o'clock. People are already in. People have started sitting. Guests have started coming in. Residents, also farmers, the award winners. So they will just be expecting the invited guests, the presidents, and other special guests to join so they can start the event.
All right, Ivy, we trust that whatever that will happen, you let us have it here on the Joy News channel. Grateful to you. So that's our original correspondent, Ivy Satoji, there. Let me wrap up this particular interaction by bringing in Nana Obadia, who's still on phone. Nana, I mean, you've listened to Mr. Kareweh and the president of the Peasant Farmers Association. As we try to wrap up this conversation, what's your take on all of the things that have been said, and what's your own expectations of what should happen from today? Because Mr. Kareweh, for example, says that we've always been talking about the challenges, yet we're not seeing much. What do you think should happen from today? Okay, let me come to you, Wepia. What is your expectation of what should happen from today, such that we don't come here tomorrow to still talk about the same challenges we are talking about today? Wepia, I'm with you.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, can you hear me?
Clearly.
Yeah. So for us, what we are looking up to is that we should begin to ensure that the policies that we are discussing, we are actually being implemented on the ground. And as stakeholders in agriculture, we are ever ready to assist, to partner with government to ensure that the policies that have been fashioned out to ensure production, linkers to market, and so on and so forth are actually carried out for the benefit of the nation. Because if we only sit here to discuss, like Mr. Edward Kareweh said, at the end of the day, the policies are not implemented. What it means is that we'll keep doing the same thing and expect different results. And we have to, at least we should be looking at Ghana becoming self-sufficient in the production of all these crops. If for anything to go by, the COVID-19 that hit the world in 2020 was enough to teach us a lesson as a country, because many countries were closing their borders and then food imports were not coming as expected. And it was the smallholder farmers in Ghana who, through their resilience over the years, were able to produce enough food to sustain this country until the borders of the other countries were open for enough food to come into this country once again. So I want to believe that if we really want to take this policy seriously, we should ensure that on the ground, we collaborate with all stakeholders, and that next year, we should not be here discussing the government policy of directing public institutions to buy food from us, and that this policy should actually be followed to the latter, and we will monitor the progress of it. The irrigation, the issue of climate change that we discussed, we have to really face it head on. The irrigation facilities, like I said, must be developed and across the country. One village, one dam, he mentioned, was a laudable policy. But when it came to implementation, it was not properly done. Those policies can be revisited. And I will want to use this opportunity to commend the Minister of Food and Agriculture, Honorable Eric Opoku, because he has an open door policy. We have engaged him a number of times on the challenges and what is expected from the side of smallholder farmers. So I want to urge the minister to keep that open door policy, discuss with us. We will also be on the ground by assisting and monitoring whatever progress that is there. Of course, we will also be ready to point out challenges to him where things are not going right, so that we can together as a nation be able to implement the policies that will guide us forward. Because if we continue celebrating Farmers' Day every year, which is a good thing to reward our farmers, but the challenges or the issues that the farmers are raising are not being addressed, and we keep celebrating, if we are not lucky, a time will come where farmers may begin to question the relevance of the celebration when their challenges and their needs are not being addressed, and it will threaten the food security of this country. And we have always indicated, if you look at government celebrating the single-digit inflation, a greater part of it is because of the production of food that farmers have been doing. And it is the food aspect that is driving down the general inflation. So if government really want to create jobs for this youth, I always indicated, you look at Ghana's competitive advantages in agriculture, look at the teeming youth across the country who are looking for jobs that they can't find. If government really invests in agriculture, the agro-industrial parks they are talking about, Agric alone can absorb much of these young people who are unemployed, so that we can engage them, produce enough food to feed this country, let Ghana become self-sufficient in food production, and ultimately this is even going to reduce the pressure on our forex. We keep talking about the exchange rate. If we are actually to look at the food import bill, as we all know, over $2 billion that we spend in importing food every year. Can you imagine if half of that money is even spent in Ghana in purchasing food from our farmers? It's going to lift the agricultural fortunes of this country. It's going to help a lot of people to have access to jobs, especially the young people, and government should be ready to mechanize, leverage technology, and be able to push the young people into agriculture. And of course, the livelihood of smallholder farmers across the country in rural areas and other areas is going to improve. So on our part, we are ever ready to partner with government and all stakeholders to ensure that we move agriculture in this country forward from where it is. And like I indicated, we'll always be on the sideline to make recommendations, do our own assessment of government policies, and point clearly to government the direction that we should take. So on this note, once again, I wish all farmers a happy Farmers' Day, especially those who are picking awards this morning. Thank you so much.
Wepia Adagola, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. He is president of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. Let me come to you, Mr. Edward Kareweh. Now, you mentioned something about youth involvement. In your wrapping up, how can we get the youth to be part of this agric revolution that we want to see happen? And again, how can government itself reduce the importation that we are seeing and rather empower local produce from getting to the market?
Well, I think that is a simple thing to do. And then, you see, life is simple until you complicate it. Our life as a country, we are complicating it. To get the youth to go into agriculture, very basic. Basic things. You have to improve on your technology. You don't expect the youth, as we see them today, to go and use hoe and cutlass as we used to. And let me state that the people today who are not old, or who are old today, they were once upon a time young, and they went into agriculture, and some of them were driven out of agriculture because the policies were no good for them. So even if you are a youth and you go into agriculture today, and the policies are no good, some of them will still come out. So you have to make it conducive for them to go. You need to modernize, you need to improve. 2, predictability. It's only in agriculture that you can produce and you don't know what will be the price of your produce at the time of harvest. Those things must be their basic, planning purposes. You must know when I produce a bag of maize, the end of the day, it will be sold at this price or a range, so that you can do your costing. But as it stands, you produce at the time of harvest, there is no market for it. That is a very discouraging factor. And when people begin to see that it's predictable, they will go there themselves. The youth will go there themselves. Now, you are then looking at which one?
The importation, government reducing importation so that we can...
You see, government doesn't appear to have, and when I say government, it means all over the period, does not have the willpower or not ready to do much about our imports. You see? And when you starve local production, you give reason why you should import. Why is it that all our factories are down? The tomato factories, they are down. What is it that Burkina Faso is doing that we cannot even walk across to Burkina Faso and go and learn and come and implement it here? What are they getting right and we are not getting right? We are just not ready. So the importation is deliberate. You see, we have structured an economy to just import. Who gives licenses for who to import? Poultry products. Why? This Christmas, you see a lot of people who are going to eat junk chicken. Yeah. You go to our restaurants, it's all about the junk chicken, which is imported.
The local ones we produce.
Because
they say it's expensive.
Because it's policy. Policy makes us to be what we are. Years back, smoke was not common. It was won by just a particular cultural group. Is that not it? Kante, where you use the cloth, and today it is now being designed in so many things that you can wear as a t-shirt and so on. I'm saying policy works and policy destroys. We respond to policy. It's the policy we have to make a decision that we are not going to continue to import the rate at which we do. But you see, we in labor, we have this expression that government is an executive arm of capital. Or it's not all the businesses that have the interests of the nation at heart. That is why the rules are there, laws are there, to make businesses conform with certain rules. Otherwise, as individuals, we are selfish. So people just want to import. You can't import. You must buy from here. We have shopping malls all over. Yeah. They are springing up. Where do they get? Yeah. Where do they source their inputs?
They source it from their home.
So before you even do that, we have an agreement. Or even when you build, you say, look, you want to take 30% of it, 40% from within. Then they will link up with the farmers, because those big companies will link up with the farmers to begin to ask them, tell them their requirements. They say, our produce is no good. You are producing for who? If you are producing for a specific person, then they will tell you that, look, I need these requirements. And they will help the farmer to do that. Yeah. Those who are producing pineapples for the companies that are processing and selling out, they will tell you their requirements. They will even help you to get the variety that they want. They will support you to do it, to manage it. This is how we can improve upon. But if I'm just producing my rice, I don't produce for a particular company, no taste. I'm just doing my own. So that linkage is just not there. So government must, we are not saying stop importation, must reduce the importation and make sure that all of us consume. And then the other thing is the smuggling. There's so much unaccounted for food in our system, which has not passed through.
Too many.
Too much.
Too many.
Rice, vegetable oils, and all that. Who has the capacity to do so? It's government. So again, we call on government, whilst they are supporting farmers to produce, ensure that they free the market by reducing the import so that the local produce can have market in our country.
Yeah, all right. I'll wrap up this conversation with this message here. It says, Farmers' Day is meant to celebrate the heroes who feed the nation, and that is a good and necessary thing. But the deeper question remains, why are our youth not entering farming? The elders say the path a child refuses to walk is often the path the society has failed to make attractive. Until farming becomes a business and not a punishment, until dignity, profit, technology, and opportunity meet on the same field, the youth will continue to admire the harvest, but avoid the whole. The celebration is good, but transformation is better. Professor Boateng brought this one in.
Professor Boateng of, where is it, the University of Ghana? Used to be University of Ghana.
Oh, no. Prof is a corporate governance aspect. Yeah. So he brought this in. Now, let's move on and talk about the OSP. But even before we do, let me wish farmers in Western region, particularly in Ahanta West, all the best. Bonomoye bohraboho oroto bobava alieba rewa udomiyeli. Ede bonoma nke kwamukuye. Inti yerimo, yazemo, yemelima mo bokoroto. Bako do jini ba faare ba udoe ne menimo bako ndwomvre no bako fa jini ba fa brewa udoe yesenne edibegire enti ye bobaba ozo ke mo baye yala ba sike de bla bosozo yenu ba mare ya nkankam ye de enti nyamre yira benne na bo hozro baye mo baye benna se me yala ba benne na sai baso enti bayare ba maye se yeto na de bra hobo enti sa ado jini na wanda dole manzinu no Ahanta West ya me say nyamre yira onne na wo mo djuma hozro na de bla hobo ma amze mu a. Let's talk about the OSP now. Let me start with you, lawyer. Kwame Boat. I always say Kojo Boat. I don't know why.
Oh, I'm used to it. I love no problem. So I answer to Kojo as well.
Anyway, what happened between the OSP and Martin Pebu? Help us appreciate it, because there are too many things involved. Why was he given bail on that particular on that particular day?
To work backwards, he was given bail on that particular day because he was accused of obstructing an officer. Okay. Apparently, there was an altercation between him and a military man.
Yes.
And if you look at the criminal code, it really frowns upon engaging into any form of abuse of an officer. It's something that is really frowned on. But as at this stage, we have heard the side of the story. We've heard the side of the OSP. Apparently, from what I have seen in the media, apparently a military man called him, used the word, pardon me to say, stupid. And he also told him that you are also stupid. And then he was arrested for obstructing him. How that constitutes obstruction, I do not know. Because there is a separate crime of abusing a public officer Obstruction is somebody is coming to arrest you. You are resisting arrest of yourself or resisting arrest of another person or stopping him from doing his work. So if indeed he called the soldier stupid, then I suppose in his defense, he claims he was called stupid first. But I know that the initial issue that took him there was he made some allegations against the office of the special prosecutor that they allowed Honorable Oforiatta to leave.
So we have him on the line now.
Okay.
Let's listen to him now. I'll come to you. Martin Pebwe is with us. Martin, good morning to you. Hello? Martin, do I have you? Okay, I can hear
Good
you,
morning.
but it's very low. I hope that, okay, it's okay now. So, I mean, let us in on, maybe you can summarize it. What did you say happened between you and the officer that led to you being charged for, I don't know if it's a charge, but we'll come there. But I'm told you your offense was read, and your offense was that you were obstructing a public official. What really happened?
Okay, good. I just heard about 30 seconds of your other panel. What's his name?
He's coming from about you.
Sometimes his own friend. If you say Eyakobe, he will understand.
I say Eyakobe.
Eyakobe. He and I, we have a term. Yes.
Yeah, he was a year ahead of me at the law faculty.
Yes. Okay, so good. Kojo, what happened was that so let me put the most important part first before I now come to the summary step by step. So I was walking from the security gate to the reception of the OSP. Then the soldier, the one who abused me, called me. He's behind at least maybe 6-7 meters. Called. I'm just going straight to the most. The main statement, that's supposed to be the thrust of the crimes before. So his statement, he started talking. As for me, it was a high-pitched voice. As for me, so because of that, I turned to look. So he is like between 5 and 7 meters behind you. So as for me, then I turned. Then he continued. Next time you come here and do that, I will show you, pa. And this is a soldier. So soldier exercising, I will show you, pa. So I shot back. You can't do anything. What have I done wrong? You don't have such powers. Then he said, you are a stupid man. And then I replied. So that is the core part. So I'm walking ahead. He's not in front of me. He emerged from the security post and talked to me. So I had to turn. He didn't even know my name. He didn't even say, officer, or maybe hello, or no. He just started talking. Then I turned. Okay, so that's it too. We'll see where the obstruction lies. Now let's go step by step briefly. So on the day, on Wednesday, I went there 2 p.m. And then usually, like I did on 2 previous occasions, when I pack, then I would go out and grant a few interviews to the media that gather at in front of the OSP. So when I went out to if you are facing the OSP, you call it the left side, the ECG facility there. So I went and then Fatal Bayarga of Joy FM, Joy News, started the interview. So in the course of the interview, a policeman, he was also on duty. So I saw at least 2 soldiers and at least 2 policemen at the security gate. There were other policemen inside, but at the security 2. So one of the policemen, Mr. J, came and started talking to the journalist, not me, the journalist and the cameraman, that no, move. Move. Saying something to the effect that he had told them he would not accept interviews there, or maybe it's against their protocols for interviews to be conducted there. And me, knowing that I have firm grounds, I have firm evidence against Jabe, I didn't want to, get involved in other matters so quickly. Even though the policeman was not talking to me, I quickly beckoned Fatal and the cameraman to move. So we obeyed. Dutiful citizens. I didn't want anything. Fatal, you can ask Fatal. Fatal and the cameraman were hesitant because they could see clearly that place it's an ECG facility. So I can imagine that they were thinking that this is for ECG. What jurisdiction does OSP have over this facility? Or what mandate? But me, I just moved them. So we moved. And then we did the interview. So when we finished, I walked back into the yard. And of course, you know, the security point is the first point. So I met the policeman who had come to sack us. We looked into each other's faces and I passed. Nothing. I think I was expecting that maybe he would commend me that, hey, lawyer, thank you for understanding. Because he wasn't even talking to me. He was talking to the journalist, but I just moved quickly. So he said nothing to me, and I also just passed. So I think, playing it back, I think I expected that he would commend me for my behavior, but none of it. So I just went past him. Then, so as I walked, as I told you, so I've gone past the security post towards the reception. Then I heard somebody say, you. So when he said you, there was nobody in front of me, but I think because the sound was high enough, I just turned. And when I turned, I saw that it was a soldier. Then he continued, we allowed you to park in this yard, and you went out to conduct interviews. Next time you come and do that, and next time you come here, I won't allow you to do that. So I shot back that, oh no, he has no powers to prevent me from going to grant an interview. That's not right. He doesn't have any power. So then he kept quiet. That was it. So I continued walking. So you see, another 2 to 3 steps. I kept walking. And I heard another person say, as for me, so obviously, as I said, because I turned and spoken with one soldier, when I heard something again, I had to turn. So that's why you see, I told you that I'm at least 5 to 7 meters away from ahead of the soldier. So I turned. Then he pointed fingers. Extended his hand, pointing his fingers at me. That as for me, next time you come and do that, I will show you. Of course, you know I'm a lawyer. A soldier cannot intimidate me. Why? This is a country of laws. So I said, how? What can you do? Because we are talking about civil law. I'm not in a war with him where I know that he will just shoot me to death. We are talking about civil law. We are in an OSC compound. You are telling me that next time I come here, you will show me. But I said, what can you do? You don't have any power to do any such thing. Because I'm looking, which law have I broken by going out to grant an interview? So when I did that, I'm sure he was surprised. Maybe he doesn't know I'm a lawyer or something. Let's leave that. Maybe he doesn't. And of course, let me say this in passing. This is not the first time soldiers have maltreated citizens there. There's a senior police officer they did that to.
So is that at this point that you were picked up?
No, not. So now let me continue. Actually, I'll show you. Then when I say you can't do anything, no. Then he now told me that I'm a stupid man. What? So I said, you are also stupid. So we exchanged stupid. You can't do anything. He said he would deal with me when I come. I said, you can't do anything. You're also stupid. Then one of my lawyers came and pulled me away. Then we went. To answer your question simply, the time I was picked up, no. So like I said, that's not the time. I was picked up later, about 1 hour, 20 minutes later. I have a way of calculating. I don't think because you want a summary, we will not do the calculation. But about 1 hour, 20 minutes later, whilst we're upstairs in the meeting room dealing with the issues for which I had been invited. So that's when I was arrested, but not over here. So one of my lawyers pulled me. Then we went into the reception, and then I met one police lady on my way to the reception and told her I'm coming to lodge a complaint against the soldiers. She said nothing to me. She passed to go there. So then I also went in there. At the reception, I requested to lodge a complaint, but they said it had to be a phone call. I couldn't it's not like I could enter any office and lodge. They say it's a phone call. They will assist me. 15, 20 minutes later, when we were going upstairs to go meet the team that had invited us, they still hadn't been able to help me to do the complaint. So we went. Then, when we went upstairs and sat down, then the first thing we tabled was that we want them to do some preliminary checks on what happened there. Because I was traumatized. I wonder why a soldier would just abuse a citizen like that and, will not get redress. So the team agreed. Mr. Abraham Ablomesa, his chief of staff of the OS, and lawyer Albert Paddington. So they came down to do some preliminary checks and came back about 45 minutes later and said, the soldiers, they didn't say the soldiers, they said there are counter accusations against me. So in that case, I should just write my statement then an administrative inquiry will be held. Because for them who are meeting us, their mandate doesn't include that administrative inquiry, so they can't do anything about the situation beyond what they have gone to inquire. So then I wrote my statement and finished. And then we continued. Then we came to the business of the day. And that business was, okay, we are here to collect information from you for further investigation, blah, blah, blah. That's the allegations I made against Kisi Ejabin. Then I said, but this Abraham Ablomensa and lawyer Paddington, we met them last Wednesday and told them that the minimum we'll do is to meet OSP board, because Ablomensa and lawyer Paddington are subordinates. Ablomensa is chief of staff at the OSP. Obviously, he's not the OSP. He's not the SP, the special prosecutor. Lawyer Paddington is a lawyer there. I don't know what his title, official rank is. But also, obviously, a subordinate. So we said, no, you can't investigate your boss. So please. And this is the third time we've come here. So we are not coming again. That's it. That's the end. We will not come here again. Then they said, okay. So then Ablomensa turned and said, okay, we should wait. He's going to consult. He returned 15 minutes later with the policeman, Evan Sopoku, and then said, okay, he has brought Evan Sopoku to come and arrest me. So, and remember I told you that that's about 1 hour, 20 minutes after the initial incident. So he said he's brought Evan Sopoku to arrest me. So quickly, I told my lawyers, sometimes lawyers would want to argue. I said, look, I don't want us to argue, because obviously we've hit them hard. So they will try to use some communist interior tactics. So I told them, no, let the policeman arrest me quickly, so that, when we say arrest, we soon come to that, so that I can write my statement, then we get bail and go. Because, they've been hit. You see, Jabin has allowed the Furiata to abscond, and that has crashed his career. You see, Jabin will never recover from this incompetence for the rest of his life.
So
that.
when they picked you, and then what happened next?
They're picking, because you are rushing. If you don't have time, I can go, but that's not the procedure. The picking is, so let me show you. So when they say arrest, so Evans Mensah, Evans Opoku, this policeman came, he touched my shoulders. You are arrested. This. You are not obliged to say anything. Like we say, if you say anything, we'll write it down, blah, blah. So I say, yes. Okay, then they brought the papers. Then quick, maybe 10, 15 minutes, I wrote my statement. Then, okay, next thing, so meaning that I've written my statement, so grant us bail. They said I was obstructing that soldier. A soldier that I was walking, I'm in front of him 5 to 7 meters minimum. He calls me, abuses me, I reply, and I continue. They say obstruction, but no problem. So we say, give us bail. Then once again, Ablomensa said he will go and consult and come back. He came back about 30 minutes later and said, bail granted, but the condition is that bring landed property in your own name. So I laughed. I burst out into laughter because it looked ridiculous. Somebody, the soldier, is abused a citizen. You say I should bring landed property. So we thought it was a joke. So we said, no, please vary the bail conditions. Then once again, he said he needs to go out and consult. So he went and consulted, came back 15 minutes later and said, no, they are not going to do it. I should bring landed property in my name. So quickly, unfortunately for me, my office is, even if you walk 10 minutes away from OSP. So I said, okay, I asked one of my lawyers. Fortunately for me, I had this indenture, documents covering the landed property in the office. So I just showed one of my colleagues that when you go, you find it. So my colleague left quickly to go and bring the document. Then Ablomensa stepped out again and came back about 3-4 minutes later when my colleague had left and said, oh, but even if he brings it, they cannot verify it that Wednesday night. So, and it's late now. So for them, when I say late, so that was somewhere maybe 6:20, 6:30. So they have closed. They can't do that. So the policeman should take me away. That's AJ, the policeman who had come to sack us, and then we complied dutifully, He should take me away. Long story short, so you're picking, then apply. So the policeman handcuffed me. He said, yes, bring your hands. I brought my hands. Then they put the handcuffs. And then next thing, I was whisked away. I didn't even know where we were going. I couldn't call family. Then, can you imagine, to add insult to injury, the first soldier who questioned me and I replied that he kept quiet, he was asked to come and escort us. He was sitting at my side and it looked very bad. It's like, today we'll show you. You figure, say, you can talk. Now, so I protested that no, that soldier cannot provide escort. So when we got to the security gate, AJ, the policeman who was now driving the car, asked the soldier to get down, and then they brought a policeman. So a policeman who was not part of the exchanges, he now escorted me. I don't know where. They took me to BNI headquarters, went and made some entries, and then they took me to the regional office of the BNI, Kawukudi, near the other side of 37. And then handed me over to them. So then over there, we had to do some entries, and then before they would put me in the cells, etc. So they did, and then eventually, next thing I knew, they had called.
But were they specific that they were picking you up based on the altercation with the military personnel, or you telling the lawyers at the OSP that you won't deal with them, you want to deal with the board?
It's the altercation of the military man.
Okay.
Me, like I said, to be fair, the first one, he asked me a question. I answered. I'm not a difficult person. I don't want to escalate. My case will be against the other soldier. He is short, very short. I would identify him. I'm sure in due course we'll ask that they be paraded, and then I will easily identify him. The other one is taller, dark. They are different. I don't want him. He's asked. He's a soldier. He's asked the question. I mean, he's made his views known. Next time you come here, I will allow you. Then I've answered that one, and he kept quiet. So I don't want to be like military person. That military man, the short one who did that.
I need a clarification. So when you say you have not been charged, but they say you are obstructing a public officer, what's the difference between being charged and being told that you are obstructing a public officer?
Okay, so our procedure in law is that if there's a suspicion of a crime or actual evidence of it, the due process they usually do. It's not compulsory, but it's become the practice. Okay, so it's practice. So sometimes people will just say law. So they'll first give you a statement. You see, when the police came to touch my shoulder, you are under arrest, blah, blah, blah. You are not obliged to say anything, but if you say, we'll write down, blah. So that's called caution statement. Caution, like the way you warn. But we add ED to it. Caution. We use the past tense. Caution statement, not caution. If you write with that, the ED is wrong. So caution statement. So you write it down, and what it means is that they are investigating. So that's not a charge. When they are done with that statement, then whether the same day, if maybe they've long investigated the whole case and they are done, as soon as they are done, they can take another piece of paper and write that, look, okay, we are charging you. So, Kojo, let's get this very clear. When we say we are charging somebody, in practice here, the charging is done in the office of OSP, the office of CID or police station or IOCO, the law enforcement agency. That's where the charging is done. So when you are charging somebody, it's a statement. You write on the letter, I mean, like they have stationery, where they will write, blah, blah, blah. We are charging you for the offense of this. It's written on paper. What do you say? Then you also write your statement in response. So that's, you've been charged. The one that happens in court, when they take the person to the courtroom, the first day, the charges are read and explained. That one is called arraignment. Arraignment. That is not charging. We don't charge, ordinarily, we don't charge the person in court. The charging is done in the office. Of course, what I mean is that if, let's say, the person absconded and they arrested him and they came and kept him in court, you can go and do it there. I mean, but not like before the judge, maybe they're holding cells. All we need to distinguish is that you don't charge the person when the judge is sitting. That's not it. No, it's an administrative procedure where they write on paper. We are charging you with the offense of so and so and so and so and so. What do you say? Then you write, or you can just say no comment, or even you say you won't write. If you say you will not write, you will just proceed. So we've not done that second statement that they are charging me. The first one which I wrote is called caution, warning. We are investigating. You want to talk? If you not talk, well, we'll go on.
Okay. All right. Martin, I'm grateful to you for joining us this morning on the show.
Oh, back with you. Is that it?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, we are with you.
So I want to thank Ghanaians. Let me just show appreciation. Professor Okwe, Tadio Sorry, Lawyer Susu Xavier, Dafia Mepo, Hassan Ayar, Mama Ayariga, all the lawyers that spoke us. I thank Ghanaians for the support. The fight is on. Kisi Ejabi will leave that office. This incompetence we've never seen. It will not happen. He won't keep that office. That much I'm very clear. So the fight is not ended. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Martin Pebo there. So you've heard him. He says it was caution statement, and so not officially charged.
Yes, it hasn't been officially charged. Yes. And
So on caution, you can be given bail.
I'm even because even the bail conditions on caution, yes, you can be given bail, but even what he was charged with under Section 205 is a misdemeanor. You know, you have misdemeanor, first-degree felony, second-degree felony. So misdemeanor is more or less the lowest of the categories of crimes, and for him to bring landed property and all, it's like what you call killing a fly with a sledgehammer. Okay. I think they really went overboard.
All right, Prof, just some 30 seconds on the OSP. Oh, you want to take a minute? I'll give you a minute. Yeah.
It's very unfortunate Pegu had to go through this. If that happened to any Ghanaian, I would have said the same thing. But I've seen a similar trend when, under this administration, when an officer or high-profile officer is about to be removed. You know, it happened always, the IGP, the High Court judge, and the rest. And then we have a similar one at the coming up, DC and the rest. So when I see a similar event, it draws my mind back to those things. But I hope it's not the same thing. You know, the recent backlash against, let me say this, OSP, they have a very robust website. I don't know if you have taken time to check. Robust, among the institutions I've checked. They've listed their cases, the ones they have finished, the ones they are yet to, a very robust one. But you see the recent backlash against the OSP stemming from, I think, four things. One is on the views of people, selective justice, procedural overreach, and I've also seen a similar thing about issues on targeting political figures. These are things that in the public domain we have heard or we have seen. Do we allow this to continue? It's a challenge. For me, we must not rush in abolishing the OSP office.
Okay.
But then we should be able to strengthen the legal clarity and then procedural boundaries. Okay. For instance, issues about assets. We should clarify how do we give bills, freezing of assets. Those things are very important if you can have clarity to those things. Okay. So we should be able to strengthen that area.
Thank you very much, Prof.
But it's interesting to know Ora fighting against OSP. It's very interesting.
The institutions are working.
Mr. Kareweh, maybe you ought to have a bite on this.
Yes, certainly I would. I'm interested in this as a young lawyer. These matters are very, very interesting for me.
Oh, but this is news to me.
Yeah, maybe.
I didn't know you've been called to the bar.
Yes, I've been called to the bar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think that...
And we have not added Esquire to your name. Edward Kareweh Esquire.
But you see, when you sit before your seniors like this, you know, you're nobody. But then, you see, the point is, the questions I just want to ask is that, is it part of their duty to insult people? You know, the soldiers, the police. Whenever the police even appear or attempt to arrest you, they insult you. Is it part of their duty to insult people? No. And this matter has been settled long ago in Ghana. Because in 1972, Asante versus the Republic, instead of arresting the guy, the police officer forcefully took the keys from the accused. Asante. And in the course of it, there was struggle. So there was a fight. He tore his uniform. He beat him up. He beat the police officer up. So you see, the state prosecuted him for assaulting a police officer. He was only guilty for tearing state property because the uniform was state property. But the police officer was wrong. Because if you are going to arrest, You don't seize keys. In this particular case, they have come there. You, a soldier, is it part of your duty at the OSP office to insult people? And of course, is it because we are in uniform? If I were in the shoes of Martin Kwebu, I will retort. Because after all, I'm a human being. I've come here for something. You are there as a soldier, policing the place or doing whatever. I've come there. Why will you insult me? So if I insult back, what has he done? In any case, you have arrested him. Do you have to handcuff him? Why? You know, they just want to deal with him, as they said in their statement, as alleged by Martin Kwebu.
Okay.
You get me?
Okay.
Why should you handcuff him? Okay. Tell me, the man is not as bulky like you. Okay. You are well trained and everything. You are a number. Why do you still handcuff him and put him in the car? Okay. This is just disgrace they want to bring to him. And you see, we should all be worried. If we allow our police and then institutions to behave this way, we are finished. Okay. It can be any of us. All right. And they'll just beat you up and insult you, and you cannot insult back. Okay. Then when you do that, they now say that you have created a confusion, you have obstructed them. All right. That is, in fact, it's a matter.
We need to deal with it. Thank you very much. But where do you stand? Should the office be scrapped, or should we strengthen and probably talk about the SP himself?
Well, there are two things. I think that it takes time to fight corruption. And no one, even with our Attorney General, many years up to date, they have not been able to fight the corruption.
So the office should not be scrapped?
So the scrapping should not happen. We should reform it. Okay. If we think it is a new law that has come, they've started implementing it. If we think that there are weaknesses to it, even with the law and the operations of the office, we should strengthen those ones rather than scrapping it.
All right, thank you very much, Edward Kareweh there. This one says, good morning, hope you're doing well. I like your batakari. And it's coming from John Summer of the Controller and an Accountant General's Department. And then my own friend and brother, Rashid Abrobra, he is the head of credit for my own bank, Taman Rural Bank in the Western region. That's one of the highest, the good performing rural banks in Ghana. I remember when they were talking about capitalization, they had about ×5 of the capitalization they were looking for. Taman Rural Bank is a very good.
And they should give more loans to farmers at 2%.
Well, Rashid, you're watching us. They say give loans to banks. Rashid Abrobra of Taman Rural Bank, good morning to you. So I had Professor Isaac Bodi, is Dean of the Accounting and Finance Department of Faculty, not Department, at UPSA. Kwame Nkrumah Botu is General Secretary of CPP, and Edward Kareweh Esquire is former General Secretary of the General Agricultural Workers Union. Nkrumah Botu is also Esquire. On Zoom, we had Awal Wepia, President of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, joining us, and also Kwame Oboade joining us there. Now, Ghana, let's talk water tanks. Do you know the secret to real water storage? It's simple. A young person told me that the secret is that it has to have a tortoise on it. If it doesn't have a tortoise on it, then it's not a correct tank. The tortoise tank, Syntex tank, is a champion of water tanks. It is strong, durable, and built to handle our Ghanaian weather. Rain or shine, Syntex tank has got your back. So go outside today, check your tank. If it doesn't have a tortoise on it, then it's time for you to upgrade. Join the Syntex tank family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like a tortoise. Call 0244 335 168, 0244 335 168 to buy now or find one of our 400 agents across the country. You can also shop online at syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, a strong, a tough. And then again here on the AM show. Okay, let's take a break here. We'll be back with more. Do stay with us. All right, welcome back to the show. Still the holiday edition of, the AM show. And I've been joined in the studio by Dr. Medo Hine Kwabena Safo Kantanka. Oh, no, Kwabena Safo, General Manager of Kantanka Herbal Pharmaceuticals and Research Center. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
I don't know whether I have to ask whether you have a relationship with the revered Apostle.
So Apostle is actually my mentor and the one who sponsored me in medical school on philanthropy.
Oh.
I was also named after him. Went ahead and did a project in pharmaceuticals, herbal pharmaceuticals. I was the lead consultant for the project. I am the lead consultant for the project that is for Kantanka Herbal Pharmaceuticals and Research Center.
Okay.
Is now producing this maiden product, Emulate.
So that is related to him?
Yes, it's for him.
It's for him?
Yeah, he's the founder and the owner of the pharmaceutical company. Yeah, but it's a herbal based.
Okay.
So Kantanka Herbal Pharmaceuticals and Research Center.
Oh.
Exactly. So this company, by virtue of registration, has been around for 3 years.
Okay.
But by virtue of research, has been around for more than a decade and a half.
So I mean, what is it that your focus is on? What producing herbal medicine?
Yeah. So the overall vision of Kantanka is tailored along paths where understanding the intentions of a creator, that is God, because this is an organic being, and through creation, what sustains this should come from the soil, and it should be an organic substrate. So you take in carbohydrates, maize-based. Today's Farmers' Day. You're taking carbohydrates, maize. You're taking your proteins, say from fish. You're taking your fats. All these break down into small compounds which your body absorbs, and that's what your body uses in metabolism. So carbohydrates to glucose, the fats to fatty acids, proteins to amino acids. And that is what the body needs to grow, to build immunity, for reproduction, for sustenance. So as your body breaks down, it has to be repaired. So it needs substrates that comes from what it was made from.
Okay.
So healing and longevity depends on herbs, because if you bring in any inorganic substrates, then you are actually interfering with what it was made of. And that's where diseases come from. So the overall vision is to establish organic pharmaceutical company which looks at producing quality research-based organic products that help in healing and longevity. So that is a direction for which Apostle established this particular pharmaceutical company.
So what product do you have? And
so this is actually a maiden product, which is Emulate Herbal Supplement, which is primarily registered with FDA for immune system support and general well-being. That is the primary indication for which this product was registered with FDA. However, in medicine, we have what we call off-label use. Off-label use are other indications which the product can be used for, but are not necessarily inscribed on it. And these indications are based on what we call the bioactive compounds in the product. So these are plant extracts. So we have compounds like antiviral compounds in there, which helps in fighting against viruses. We have plant compounds which are anti-inflammatory. Inflammation is how disease conditions actually happen. We have compounds which are what we call hepatoprotective and hepatorestorative. I'll break it down. They help in protecting and restoring the liver. We have plant compounds which are immunomodulatory, helps in modulating your immune system to help you fight diseases. Some are nerve protective. So there are multiple compounds in this extract, which gives it the benefit that helps it in managing communicable and non-communicable diseases. Again, based on the compounds. So there are people living with hypertension, diabetes, arthritis, which are all more of lifestyle diseases. These are chronic disease conditions. What we say is, as medics, you take your prescribed medications as per the standard treatment guidelines. So you don't stop taking your orthodox product. And an hour apart, you take these organic substrates, which syncs better with your biosystem. So they complement. We have something we call synergistic effect. So whilst the antihypertensive is helping with your BP control, the organic substrates, which has several benefits, which are also antihypertensive, also adds up, and you get this myriad of things I've mentioned, which are necessary in this age because one, the air you are breathing in is actually polluted, heavily polluted. If you check the air pollution index now, it's 11 times the normal as per WHO standards. You go deep into our soil, land, we don't have well established land-field processes that ensures that our municipal solid waste are well treated before they are disposed. So the soil is actually also going off. Again, go to our water bodies. The water we are drinking are heavily polluted. So you have a lot of toxins coming in from what you are breathing in, from the soil, what you are eating, and also from the water you are drinking. So consistently, this body is being hit with a lot of toxins on a daily basis. So you need something which is rich in these compounds, which are antioxidants, anti-inflammatory compounds, immunomodulatory, that restores balance and establishes what we call homeostasis. That's you maintaining a constant internal environment which has narrow limits and is necessary for the body to thrive or to grow. So that is the direction we at Kantanka.
And that's what this
exactly.
This
that is
does.
what this product does. Yes.
But as a medical doctor, why herbal?
Yeah. So as I said,
you're a trained medical doctor.
Yes, I'm trained. I schooled at University of Ghana Medical School.
Okay.
And fast forward, while I was in medical school, I was introduced to the herbs by Apostle to understand how these herbs work. So right from medical school, I needed conviction points to establish that, conviction is internally generated and it's based on data and science. So from a lot of deep research and understanding of these herbs, I realized that, yes, indeed, the herbs are actually the primary compound necessary for our sustainability before any other thing comes in. And that was my conviction point, because then I have a lot of data to establish that, seriously, we have to pay attention to what we are eating and drinking, because the food we eat is actually herbs. The contomere, the bedroos, all these things are herbs. And the herbs we are taking in, if we don't take good care of these herbs and their sources, then we are not sustaining this body right. So with all these areas, I told myself I have to drink deep or taste not. And in 2019, it will surprise you to know that the traditional and complementary medicine report that was published by WHO is looking at integration of orthodox medicine and herbal medicine with evidence to help in championing health for Agenda 2030 as far as SDG Goal 3 is concerned. So this is the reason why I am for the herbs.
But a lot, the issues that are confronting a lot more people today are hypertension and diabetes.
Exactly.
Is this able to deal with
that? So this is a very important drug that helps in supportive therapy, underlined supportive therapy as far as chronic disease conditions are concerned, here in hypertension and diabetes. The reason being that, so there are single target medicines that are registered with FDA for managing these chronic conditions, which are the antihypertensives, the anti-diabetics, which are orthodox. So you take them, so you don't stop taking those medications, then you add on your organic substrate, which is where you come from, the soil. So these herbs come in with antihypertensive compounds, anti-diabetic compounds, which regulates your sugar and helps controlling them. In addition to this, you get benefits of anti-inflammatory compounds in there, immunomodulatory. So you see the person taking it for hypertension. You take your antihypertensive, an hour later, you take your organic substrate, the supplement, which is Humulate Herbal Supplement. And they tell you they had arthritis and they are experiencing relief. So we, from science-based evidence, are not surprised because you have a lot of compounds in there, what you call, so it's a multi-compound adjuvant product, which helps in treatment along these non-communicable diseases like hypertension, diabetes, those with stroke. And it will interest you to know that most often we say these herbs they affect the liver, they affect the kidney.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was going to ask you.
It's actually one of the reasons why a lot of doctors are very careful. And indeed, it's because there's a lot of quackery in our system. So with this, we have a lot of data to support that it even helps in restoring liver-related conditions as well.
Doc, I think we have to have this conversation again because I'm interested in herbal medicine. Yeah, Dr. Medo Hene Kwabena Safo. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
He is General Manager of Kantanka Herbal Pharmaceutical and Research Center. Ghana, are you ready? The wait is over. The Compu Ghana cashback sales festival is back, and this time it's bigger, better, and way more rewarding. From this time on until the end of December, shop your favorite brands: Samsung, LG, TCL, HP, Lenovo, Dell, Techno, Infinix, and many more at any Compu Ghana showroom nationwide. Enjoy instant discount, sweet cashback deals, and surprise gift with every purchase. And that's not all. Your invoice automatically enters you into 3 massive raffles where you could win TVs, laptops, phones, cash prizes, and yes, the ultimate prize, a brand new SUV. Yes, brand new SUV. And every Friday, the fun goes next level with live exhibitions, FIFA gaming battles, free health checks, where after checking, you could probably get one of the herbal, medicines from Safo Research Center. It's not just shopping, it's a whole festival vibe. So what are you waiting for? Bring the family, bring your friends, and let's make every Friday at Compu Ghana unforgettable. Shop, save, and win big. Visit Compu Ghana or shop online at www.compugana.com. Call 0302 75 2020. Okay. WhatsApp 0243 143 143 0243 143 143 for details. This promo is in partnership with NLA under the Characters Lottery platform. It's joy, rewards, and pure celebration all season long. Only at the Compu Ghana Cashback Sales Festival. We'll take a break here. We'll be back with more. Please do stay.
Welcome to the building site here at Wager Leprosarium. This is our new building site for our new kitchen and dining hall. For those who had the leprosy and for our street children and learners, this is what we're going to build for them. In 4 months' time, I will be 80 years old, thanking God. And I want to give this new kitchen and dining hall as my birthday gift to the residents here at Wager, to the children here at Wager. This is my birthday gift that I want to give to these people. Because where they're having their food now, where they're cooking, it's just a plywood structure and it's not decent at all. So we want to build this kitchen and dining hall for these people. So I need your help. I need your help. Just over 2 weeks ago, we launched my birthday celebration at Labadi Beach Hotel for the cost of this building. It cost about 1 million cedis. At Labadi Beach Hotel, we raised over 200,000, and that's what I'm using now. But foundations, see all the foundations going in now, and it's nearly completed now, 200,000. So I need your help. Please help me to finish this building. And on the 7th of December, it's about just over 2 weeks' time, 7th of December, at Christ the King Parish Hall at 4 p.m. on Sunday afternoon, we're going to a concert, a Christmas concert. Ben Ajay and Ben's Initiative, his group, which is 10 years old, they're going to sing for us on that day. Beautiful songs. And our own children from here are also going to sing for us. So it's going to be an afternoon of real nice singing, dancing, and enjoying ourselves, and a time also to help me to build this building to the glory of God. I've been now 55 years a priest, just over a month's time, and I want to give thanks to God for what He's done for me since I came to Ghana. I arrived in Ghana on the 13th of October 1971, and God has blessed me all these years. So I want you to help me to put up this building to the glory of God in thanksgiving for all years, the 54 years I've spent in Ghana, looking after these people, looking after the street children. You can help me to do this. I need your help. I need your blessing. So please, bring your family, bring your friends, bring them all on the 7th of December at 4 o'clock in the afternoon at Christ the King Hall. And let's make a special time which will help me to make this building a reality. So that on the 27th of March, 2026, I will bless this building to the glory of God. Thank you, and God bless you all.
All right, this will be a great day, and it will be a great birthday as well. You need to be part of this wonderful project because the Bible says, if you do it for your neighbor, you do it for me. Well, it's an honor for me to welcome into the studio Reverend Father Campbell. He's former parish priest of Christ the King Church in Accra, and someone who's been in charge of the Wager Leprosarium for quite a long time. And you've done some amazing work. Good morning, sir. Welcome to our show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here with you on this occasion. Thank you.
The honor is all ours to host such a prominent member of the society doing an incredible work for people. And this is to celebrate your 80th birthday.
80th birthday in March.
March next year.
27th of March.
And you decide that what you want to do to celebrate it is to get a new kitchen.
Celebrate my 80th birthday. I want to give a present of a new kitchen and a new dining hall to the cured lepers at Wager, and also to the street children, the learners that were taken care of out in Wager. I want to give them a beautiful new kitchen. The old kitchen is a plywood structure. Awful. No, I want to give them a new kitchen. And that's what I want for my birthday. So 2 weeks ago we launched this and we got 200,000 CDs. So I'm left with 800,000. But God is there. I know God will give it to me. He'll look after me in so many ways. He will take care of this also. So we want to put up this building and we're asking for sponsorship. Somebody has promised to do the solar for the building. Somebody else has promised to furnish the whole kitchen.
Okay.
That's costing $30,000. Okay. Yeah. And somebody else wants to buy the paint. So I'm still asking for people to come. Maybe they want to do the tiling or the electrical or the plumbing. So this is my purpose of coming to. I'm known as a beggar priest. I'm always begging for the lepers. I'm always begging for them. I'm always begging for the poor and needy.
Yeah.
And this is I don't do anything for myself, but I want to make the 27th of March a special day. I'm inviting the cured lepers from Ho, from Enkanchina, from Kokofu, from Ankofo. I'm inviting them all to come on the 27th of March. I will have church service, then a big celebration afterwards. That's what I plan to do, to celebrate my birthday.
It's a good cause. Instead of going to wine and dine, you say, I want to do this for the children at the leprosarium and the street kids as well. So if someone wants to be part of this, how can the person do it?
Well, come along on Sunday, the coming Sunday at 4 o'clock at Christ the King Parish Hall. come and join us, because Ben Ajay and his group will be there, the Ben Initiative. They're celebrating 10 years of their group. So we invited them to come and sing for us. And also Ni Okai says he'll also come and sing for us on that day too. So come along with your family and friends. Come along and join us and make it a Christmas choral concert in preparation for Christmas. And maybe they would like to donate on that day, or they can donate through the Cal Bank, or they can donate through my Momo account and be able to give us, so that my vision will become a reality. I want these people, I don't want them to suffer. I mean, they deserve more. I mean, you see this man here, Thomas. Poor Thomas came to me one day, 6 o'clock in the morning, and he sat down in my summer hut. And he said, "Father, can I stay here?" I said, "Yes." "Well, what's the problem?" He was blind. He had glaucoma, and the family didn't take care of him. Didn't take care of him. They wouldn't give him water and food, and they neglected him. So he came all the way from Sanyani, all the way down to say, "Father, can I stay with you?" So he stayed with us. I gave him one lady to bath him, to feed him, to take care of him. And after 2 months, he says, "Father, now I feel human. Now, why should we treat people like this? Now I feel human." Means before that he wasn't feeling human. He was being neglected so much. And people like that, that's our problem these days. The stigma against these people. People are afraid to go near them. They're all cured. They're all cured. But people are afraid to go near them. And they think, they'll get leprosy. Look, I'm with them for 54 years. And look at me. I say, I'm fine. I'm fine. So we need to educate people. So they shouldn't be afraid of going near these people, and they should help them in every way. And I think of poor Thomas. Poor Thomas, he fell and had to have a hip replacement. We asked the family to come and help us, look after him. So the family said, no time, looking after their grandchildren. Then he got really seriously sick. And we again phoned the family. Did no time. The man died on a Sunday morning at 2 o'clock. He died at 2 o'clock. By 7 o'clock, the family were there.
Oh.
7 o'clock. 2 o'clock, he died. 5 hours later, the family come. And I said to them, "Why are you coming to greet a dead body? Why?" And he said, "I insulted him. I insulted him." I didn't insult him. I asked him a question. When he was alive, he wouldn't come. Now that he's dead, you all want to come. The whole family want to come and bury him. Why? This is how we treat people like this. It's not right. And I feel, with my 55 years as a priest here in Ghana, this is my mission, is to give people like Thomas, give them hope. Each time I'd visit Thomas, it was always funny. Each time I'd visit Thomas in his room, I always had to have a bar of chocolate. He loved chocolate. Okay. He loved chocolate. Again, to give them kindness, to give them love, to make them feel human, to make them feel loved, to make them feel in society they're not just thrown aside. And this is the unfortunate thing, even 2025, the way we treat these people. The way we treat these people. Even in the hospitals, we treat them badly. Because when he was sent to hospital, to one of the hospitals in Accra, and he ended up with his whole back full of bed sores. Now, bed sores, a nurse or doctor will tell you, bed sores means bad nursing. Bad nursing, because you shouldn't get bed sores. If you're lying in the same position all the time, you need to rub the back, so that you don't get sores. They didn't do that. And he got bed sores, awful bed sores, painful bed sores. This is how we treat people like this. Why? They deserve better than this. And that's why we need to get rid of this stigma. This stigma. And I'm grateful to Joy. Joy have helped me so much over the past years. over the years. You've come to Wager, you've come to all my programs. I know you'll be there on Sunday for the concert. That Joy, you've helped us to try to lessen this stigma in society, and I ask you to continue to support, so we'll be able to let people know, you know, that it's not infectious. If it was infectious, I would
have.
But I haven't. So this is our biggest problem these days. And then I also was with the President Mahama recently, and I said, Your Excellency, please, I beg you, please help these people. Because they get about 10 cedis a day on the Leap Fund. That's fine for their food. But when they get sick and they have to go to hospital, maybe they need an X-ray, maybe they need a scan, maybe they need medicine, maybe, you know, which costs money, they don't have it. They don't have it. The family don't take care of them. The family don't look after them. You know, sometimes my bills are big for the hospital. I paid for one man there some time ago. He had lost the use of his legs. Thank God he got it back. But by the time he finished, about 5 or 6 weeks in hospital, I had to pay 22,000 cedis.
So you want them to have a special fund?
I've asked the President, please do something. Do something. Because if I wasn't there, who would have paid for this man? Who would have? 22,000. And when he was in hospital and he died, you know, I had to pay 10,000 cedis for his treatment in the hospital. You know, where would they get that money from? Families don't care. The only time the family will come is when they die, because they say if we don't give the man a good funeral, they say the disease will come back to their hometown.
So his family came to give him a good funeral?
He came all the way from Sinyani.
They took him there?
He died there recently, yes. Poor Thomas. I feel he shouldn't be dead. I feel he shouldn't be dead if we had taken good care of him. We did all we could. I got all the medicines, and his medicines were expensive. They were expensive. One time, I had 2 prescriptions. One tablet was 600 cedis. So that's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I'm asking for help, that we'll be able to help these people so they feel, I mean, to come as a father, now I feel human. I mean, what does that mean? It means we haven't been treating them well. Who deserves that in this country? We don't deserve to be respected and taken care of. That we all do.
Well, so this is happening on Sunday at the Christ the King
Parish Hall
at
4 o'clock.
Okay. But can you put the thing again? If you're watching us and you want to even support before that day, you can send your donation to the CalBank account, which will be put there. The flyer will be put on the screen now, so you can see it, and then you can contribute. So you can donate via Momo to 0243 326643. So there you have it on the screens now. You can also do it via the bank. The account name is Lepers Aid Committee Kitchen Projects, and the account number is 140010183358. So you can have it so that we can kindly support, because we need to support Father to realize his dream of handing this kitchen and the eating area to these children next year, March.
Next year, March. I want to bless the building next year, March.
Okay, all right.
So I need the help.
Yeah.
And as I was saying, when I was putting up a building at the Children's Hospital, I needed 3,500 blocks.
Yeah.
5-inch blocks. I said, where do I get these blocks from? So I went to one contractor, an Italian contractor on the Spintex Road. And I sat down in front of him in this big office. I sat down in front of him and I said, do you want to go to heaven? And the man says, yes, I want to go to heaven. I said, if if you give me 3,500 blocks, I'll put in a good word for you. He gave me his blocks.
He gave you.
He gave me the.
Have you put in that good word for him?
He hasn't come yet. But I'm ready to put in a good word for
anybody.
When the time comes, I'm ready, because the Bible is full of Bible passages. Those who take care of the poor and the needy, God will bless them. God will bless them. And that's Psalm 41 that says, those who take care of the poor and the needy, on their sick bed, I will raise them up. And I was on my sick bed 5 years ago at UGMC. They said I had COVID. I didn't have COVID. I had a clot in the lung. And at one night I had a crisis. My blood pressure was that of a dead body. But the doctors and nurses and the grace of God, they brought me together. This is why I'm here today, through the grace of God. And Psalm 41 is being fulfilled. That, yes, those who take care of the poor and the needy on their sick bed, I will raise them up. I'm raised up. I see this like my second life, as it were, to be able, God raised me up because of what I've done for the poor and the needy. And just after that, you know, when I was recuperating in the hospital, God spoke to me and said, Father, you haven't finished your work. Go and help the poor. And that's why I'm doing all this work now, is to help the poor and the needy. Now God has told me to do this, and I'm fulfilling his command, as it were. I want to do that.
Father, so I wish you all the best. We'll be there on Sunday.
Wonderful.
So that this can be done. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much for
And
coming.
I say thank you to Joy. I'm so grateful. I look back over the years. You've always been a good friend of the lepers. Always. No matter when we call on you, no matter when we need, you've always been there to help us. And I'm so grateful. And to all our friends and benefactors all over Ghana, all those who've helped us over the years, all I can do is to say thank you very much for your support, your encouragement. And I wish you all a very happy Christmas and God's blessing for a new year. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Reverend Father Campbell there. This is how we ended Reverend Father Campbell as former parish priest of Christ the King Church here in Accra. And that does it for the AM show. Please do enjoy the rest of our programming here on Join the Channel. And happy Farmers Day to all farmers. Good morning.